one that we saw, which is this one. And let's take it.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show.
This never-before-seen footage is one of the craziest
Let's watch it.
you'll ever see.
Hey, I could grab it.
Let's watch this, boys. It's scary time. Hold on, let me turn off all these lights. It's scary time, guys. It's scary time, guys. It's scary time, guys. It is scary time, guys. It's scary time, guys. It's scary time. Get ready. Prepare yourselves.
Here would strangle you.
Prepare yourselves to get scared. It's 2 hours. After this, I'm... Goodbye. Right after this.
Oh my gosh, why would you say that?
I don't know. I don't know.
Wait.
The craziest interrogations you'll ever see.
Hey, I could grab your hair and strangle you with it.
Oh my gosh,
Oh
why
my
would
God.
you say that?
I don't know. I don't know.
She's a fucking weirdo, and she held me over and laughed. I would like to see how
Oh, no.
fast my pigs could get rid of a human body.
An officer conducting a search warrant for identity theft on a rural farm in Weimar, Oregon, stumbled upon evidence of a far more gruesome.
Yeah, guys. I'm gonna let you know right now. If you're not into this, please leave. If you're not into this, leave. Cause there's some sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes there's what you call it? Harsh words, harsh phrases, and all that. If you're not into it, just leave. Cause I'm not seeing no comments. Hey, take this off. Racist. That's wrong. It's the show, all right. It's the movie. Be respectful, all right. It's the movie.
Crime. He found the skeletal remains of a human leg just outside of a pig pen.
Possibly human.
As horrific as this discovery was, the true horrors hidden on the property were yet to be discovered. The farm was owned by Susan Monica, a former soldier who served in the Navy during the Vietnam War. After being honorably discharged, she purchased the 20 acres of land where she raised chickens and pigs. She often had transient people stay on her farm and work for her for short periods of time.
Wait.
In 2013, Susan placed an ad on Craigslist
Wait.
for some extra help on her property. She was contacted by 56-year-old Robert Haney, a handyman and carpenter. In exchange for payments in cash and a place to stay, Robert began working and living on Susan's property. However, all was not well. And in September 2013, after working for Susan for about 6 months, Robert disappeared. After a few months with no contact, his children tried to find him, but Susan told them that Robert had left her employment, taking most of his things, and vanished.
This is another living area.
Oh my God. The chickens.
That after he learned
Yo.
that one of his relatives had been a victim
Wait.
of assault,
Yo, you guys ever woke up to that? That's like, I feel like it depends, like your morning, if it's going good or bad. It's the best sound.
he learned that one of his relatives had been a victim of assault, he began drinking excessively before suddenly leaving. Hearing this was distressing, to say the least. But Robert's kids couldn't find anything to indicate that something bad had necessarily happened to him. In fact, they found very little trace of him at all.
Hold on.
However, it was especially odd to them that
Let me touch something. Let me do something. Hold on. My bad. I don't like doing this. Wait. Let me fix, man. Like, Jesus. Okay. Let's go back a little bit.
They found very little trace of him at all. However, it was especially odd to them that he appeared to have left his trailer and dog behind on
Oh,
Susan's
wow.
farm. Eventually, they filed a missing persons report with the Jackson County Sheriff's Office. But since Robert was usually paid in cash for his work, there was almost no way to track him down. Everything changed on January 10th, 2014.
Why?
When an officer came to investigate Susan's property. However, he wasn't there to look into Robert's disappearance.
Yeah.
Instead, Susan Monica was being investigated for fraud after she
Wow.
was using Robert's food stamp card.
Wow. I mean, he's not there, so
Inside of Susan Monica's living area,
I mean,
where we contacted her this morning.
he's not there, so like, what are you supposed to do, man? He's not there, so like,
We arrived.
oh, the fire, it's still on.
It was while walking along the back of her farm that the officer found the remains of a human leg.
Wow.
Cut about mid-femur, lying just beyond one of Susan's pig pens.
Pieces of other bone.
Susan Monica was brought in for questioning. The following footage has been analyzed by a qualified team, including a licensed attorney and former criminal prosecutor, a licensed clinical
Wow.
psychologist, a
Wow.
former licensed professional counselor, and a clinical counselor.
Wow.
Feel good.
The interrogation will uncover even more dark secrets that detectives never expected to find.
Well, this is a warrant, and it's just says you're commanded to search the property.
Before the interview begins, Susan asked for the search warrant the officers first used to come onto the property to be read out loud. As you'll see, she has a very interesting reason for asking them to do this.
And the lot number indicates you as the sole owner since 1999. And
There you go. Say that again.
the sole owner since 1999.
Okay. We're done. That warrant is inaccurate,
Okay.
and so I figure if it's inaccurate, any
Wow.
and all information received in a warrant that's not correct is
Okay.
not.
Well, you know that I
Wow.
was talking to you about Robert Haney's Morgan Trail card, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And we talked about how, a little bit already, about how he had given you permission, you said, to use the Oregon
Yes.
Trail card 3.5 months ago.
Something.
Somewhere like that.
Before he did.
Wow.
Right. And he gave you the PIN number, which you had memorized.
Yes.
The interrogator is trying to establish a timeline of Robert's movements before his disappearance. This is always done as the timing of events is usually important evidence, and it's also done to see if the suspect's timing matches the evidence.
And you had said that you had sometimes put up like the wanted, posting up a thing, a little
Yes.
help around here or
Yes.
there, and so after he moved to your property, of course, you got to know him a little bit better, which you talked about his drinking, and that he every once in a while he would flip out because of his drinking, most likely.
Yes.
But other than that, your contact with him was
Minimal.
kind of minimal.
I wouldn't see him for a week at a time.
Yeah.
Wow.
Michael Bales, who worked for
Who's that?
Susan and lived on her property for a few months,
Oh.
came to speak with investigators soon after she was arrested. And boy, did he have a story to tell.
Hey, boy.
You play bad cop, good cop?
No, we're both good cops. There's no reason to, right? Maybe if there was a reason, there's no reason. If we were going to do that, he'd be the bad guy.
He looks like he could be. And sometimes
It's been known to happen.
that's my middle name. Michael Ed Bales.
Okay, this is just the audio backup. I'll just sit there.
Do whatever you gotta do.
The investigators asked Michael how he first met Susan.
He has nothing to do with it. That's my opinion. Michael has nothing to do with it. Let's see.
Some background on how well they knew each other.
I met her through a friend, Brady. I don't even know his last name, but
Okay.
Brady is in a wheelchair up in Rug River.
Okay.
And he introduced me to her. She gave me a job.
Okay.
I went up there. I was cutting wood for her. I had nowhere else to go. So I guess they call me a vagrant or whatnot. And she was pretty nice to me. And then all of a sudden, she turned not very nice.
Were you living up there?
Yeah.
How long did you live up there?
Like 3 months.
Because Michael lived with Susan and saw her every day, he can offer the
Figgity, I got no views now.
insight into her daily
All my
habits,
views went down.
as well as into her personality.
You're not into this?
He does not hold back
I
in
am.
sharing his opinion of Susan.
She's a fucking weirdo.
What makes you say that exactly?
She just gave me the EGBGs. Sometimes you can tell when somebody's a weirdo. She gave me that feeling.
We're familiar with the property. If you have the barn, were you living in the barn?
I lived over in the biggest barn. It was a big old. You can't miss it.
We've been through that.
I lived in 2 of the rooms.
Upstairs.
That was my room originally, and then there was a TV that got put in downstairs. So then I moved down there.
Okay, and was
That's
Brady?
where Richard lived too. God damn it.
Is it? Maybe we should get a photo of Robert. Do you have-
That Robert, that's him.
Okay, well, we'll just confirm it with a photograph.
That's him.
All right. So Robert lived down in the barn in the downstairs.
No, Robert originally lived downstairs,
Okay.
and then he got tired of her screaming at him, so he moved. His trailer's way
Right. I saw that.
okay, way over there.
Okay. And then
He got tired of her screaming.
Poor Michael, man.
About how long had he been there? Like, about when he said, hey, here's my Oregon Trail card, my PIN number, can you go grab me some beer? And, whatever else.
A couple months.
He'd been there a couple months.
Wow.
I saw him. I said, I'm going into town. You want anything? He gave me the card, gave me the PIN number, and I said, get me some beer and coffee.
So you can't buy beer with Oregon Trail card. So did you use your own money, or how did that work?
Yeah.
Okay. What would you normally ask him to buy you for reimbursement?
Bread and milk. That was it.
Okay.
Occasionally cheese.
Okay.
Other than that, I've got 500 pounds of pork in my freezers.
What?
Jeez.
Jesus.
Yeah.
That'll keep you fed for a long time, huh?
Yes. And for the record, if anybody here would like to buy some pork, I have pork. 80 cents a pound. I'm getting ready to get rid of another pig.
Wow.
The detective laughs and appears to be genuinely finding Susan's story funny. However, it's very likely that he's just trying to put her at ease, so she opens up to him. He wants her to think he's on her side and that she can trust him. By laughing with her, he's building rapport.
Rapport.
Where's your pigs at?
Right there in the barn.
Oh, you know how to do it?
I know how to kill them, and I don't necessarily butcher. I'm kind of a butcher when it comes to butchering.
Oh, okay.
What?
Not good at it, but you can do it.
Yeah.
How do you?
Oh.
Oh. What kind of gun do you have to use for that?
22
Oh, okay. Like a rifle or?
rifle.
Oh, okay.
You didn't see it?
No.
Everybody was standing around. Nobody was searching. I didn't understand the search thing when everybody was standing around.
Well, we stand around a lot sometimes.
Yeah, 7 of you standing around and nobody was searching.
I know. I think I was the only one working.
Maybe. Anyway, I have a rifle there in my house.
Okay.
I'm not a good shot. I mean, if I'm 3 feet from a pig, what you're supposed to do is make an X between their eye and their ear, and their eye and the ear, and then you shoot them right there.
And that's it.
And so from 3 feet away, I can hit the target. I see a turkey 50 feet away, and I'd shoot it and go, I'd run away, and I'd shoot it again. And one turkey I had to shoot 4 times, and it was halfway down my property before I actually killed the damn thing.
The detective makes an effort to refocus the conversation after Susan goes off on a tangent relating to her method of shooting animals.
What did Robert think about your pigs? Did he ever help feed them?
No.
Did he ever go into their area?
Not that I know of.
Susan exhales when asked if Robert ever went into the pig area. Sighs can be adapter signs of stress, so this could indicate that she's anxious about this question in particular. Although some dismiss body language analysis as pseudoscience, it is used by the FBI and CIA during interrogations. When the CIA is interrogating an individual, they look for clusters of 3 or more indicators that occur in either quick
cough.
succession
I know one.
or all at once.
I learned one last
These
video.
indicators can be signs of discomfort or uncertainty in what the individual is stating, rather than indicators of deception. It's extreme succession or all at once. These indicators can be signs of discomfort or uncertainty in what the individual is stating, rather than indicators of deception. It's extremely important to note that you cannot detect deception through body language analysis alone.
What did you think of them? I mean,
I know one, a cough. I never knew that. If you have a cough, right? If it's like a cold, if you have a cold and stuff like that, most of the time, the cough could indicate that you're stressed. Yeah.
they're noisy at times, and
How was it? I definitely forgot. It's a cough. A cough. A cough could let you know. Figgity. How was it? I
well,
forgot.
smelly sometimes, and
Well, he was, well,
Susan is clasping her hands together on her lap and fidgeting, which appears to be a release of tension and a stress relief. It's not uncommon for people, innocent or not, to be nervous when talking with the police in these types of settings.
he was never around them, I don't think, except when he came up to use that little room.
it's a good conversation piece, though. I mean, it would certainly be something I would talk about if I was going to move there.
Well, we didn't talk. Like I say, he was there, and you know, the two of us have talked more today than I talked with him in whatever months he was there.
So you had to have been thinking, well, he hasn't returned for his dog, and what's going on here? I'm confused.
Well, I was, confused a little bit, but like I say, even when I saw him, it was sporadic, and sometimes I wouldn't see him for a week.
Looking back, are there things that come to mind that are suspicious to you, or kind of click in your memory, going, "Oh wow, that was weird"?
Everything she said was odd.
How about actions? Like what did she do around the property?
Drove her backhoe around, knocked down trees, fought with Robert.
Oh, I heard something.
Even when I saw him, it was sporadic.
Haha.
Like daily?
Oh, every day. She would have me go wake him up.
Was she like feeling like he wasn't pulling his weight around the place or something? Or do you know? I mean, did she make comments about?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
What did she say?
That Robert sleeps till noon and he's not doing any work.
Besides Michael Bales, Brady Murray, one of Susan's neighbors and friends, also came to speak with investigators. Brady had moved in with Susan 3 weeks before this interview took place because of family issues, and over the past few years, he's lived with Susan on and off. What he shares with investigators is a stark and startling contrast to Michael's description of Susan.
What did she say about this Robert guy? Like, what kind of person was he?
No, what she talked about him was to me it was good. It seemed good. He was a good worker.
Mm-hmm.
She had no qualms with his working. He's alcoholic. He was a yeller. He'd go down, he'd rant and rave, and she'd hear him hollering down below. He was in butter. His angel. So,
what were some of the things that she didn't like about him?
Nothing I know of. She kind of liked his work. Yeah, but she don't talk, really good, and I somebody really good. She, I don't know, 3 or 4 times the sheriff talked about him. It's all good. He's alcoholic. He was a yeller. He'd go down, he'd rant and rave, and she'd hear him hollering.
Back in Susan's interview, the interrogator continues discussing Susan's use of Robert's Oregon Trail card. This card is the same food stamp card that Susan was using when she was initially flagged for fraud.
Was that concerning to you that here he is, he's gone, he's left you his Oregon Trail card, and, you only get one Oregon Trail card, you know what I mean? So, and he doesn't have a job. So
Well,
how's he gonna get food?
I didn't know that. I figured if he had gone to Ashland and was working, he had money to buy food. That was
Okay.
it.
And so when did this working in Ashland thing come up?
Well, I don't know if it was actual working or not.
Okay.
Susan shifts her foot, likely an anchor point movement, when asked about Robert working in Ashland. When someone is sitting and moves their feet, back, or buttocks, this is considered to be an anchor point movement. These types of behaviors can be a signal of deception because it's the body's way of releasing anxiety or tension.
And you had mentioned something before about Robert saying that his daughter had been.
Huh?
Yes, he mentioned that several times, mostly when, he got really drunk.
So tell me about your relationship with Susan. You said you've known her for 8 or 9 years.
Yeah, she's been my boss in the past while. That's enough I work for her. And just casual relationship, not girlfriend, guy friend, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Brady finds it necessary to clarify that he and Susan have a casual relationship. Then he laughs nervously. Brady also seems to be shifting around in his chair, looking rather uncomfortable as he speaks. His shoulders are a bit elevated. He seems to struggle when speaking. The inflections in his voice change, and he stutters a bit. These are all indications of discomfort. It seems that Brady
I know
is
the
getting
stuttering is.
increasingly nervous.
Susan's not a bad person.
Well, some people.
Susan, you guys,
For some people.
she's a little peculiar, a little different acting. She does have a lot of temper, but she's not. I've never seen her follow her temper with violent acts.
Okay. So somebody's missing. Who's missing? What do you know about that?
I don't know the guy. I never met the guy. His name's Robert. I understand, right? That's all I know.
The information that Brady is providing to the detectives is now becoming even more suspicious. It seems like he's really trying to emphasize that he knows nothing as well as distance himself from Robert and what happened to him.
What do you know?
Well, what Susan's told me was not a lot. She hadn't spoke a lot about it, but she did tell me that. What Susan told me now was that he was the guy that was working for her. I mean, I seen your camera down here. Anyways, and he had told her, I guess she was drunk, real bad drunk, that his daughter or sister, somebody got, and he was gonna go take care of it. And she said he's missing. So, okay. She hadn't talked a lot about it with me.
When talking about the story Susan told him, if you look at Brady's hands, they're ahead of his words. This kind of mismatch indicates the brain in fight or flight mode. There's something about discussing this that's causing Brady anxiety.
He left all of his possessions behind that you know of?
Yeah.
And that was strange to you?
Well, like I said, he had left with somebody. So I was under the impression that he was doing something in Ashland. He had told me, he had mentioned to me one person in Ashland where I might actually go with him to do an engineering job.
So what do you think happened to Robert? What's your gut feeling on it? Everybody has their own opinions about things, but what do you think?
The only...
She moves both of her feet when asked what happened to Robert, likely anchor point movements indicating anxiety and possibly deception. However, it's important to not rely on one indicator as proof that someone is being dishonest, because a single behavior could be explained away.
When Bobby had told me that his sister usually got a call a couple times a week, that was when I first kind of thought in the back of my head somewhere that if he indeed went to take care of business, with the thing, that he might have gotten the short end of the stick. And that was, like I said, just the back of my head. I had no idea. I couldn't understand after all this time. If you don't hear from your father for a month, and prior to that month you heard from him twice a week, why didn't somebody do something earlier? And then when they came out last week, they said they thought he was dead. And I'm saying, why do you think, I didn't say out loud, but I'm thinking to myself, well, if you think your father is dead, why didn't you do something about this months ago?
Susan has shown a pattern of superiority, seemingly thinking that she could handle situations better than other people. Earlier, she pointed out how the police department's search fell short, as she felt they were all just standing around. Now she's blaming Robert's family for not looking for him earlier.
Why didn't you call?
Well, I had no reason to call him.
But he lives on your property for
Yeah.
a long time, and he never came back.
Susan hesitates and then sighs heavily, likely another adapter behavior to reduce her stress. She typically responds to questions rather quickly by either providing a lengthy and highly detailed response or saying that she doesn't remember. Here, Susan shows signs of possible discomfort with the question, given her hesitation and deep sigh, which is a deviation from her typical behavior.
I don't know. I didn't think it was my responsibility to call.
What if, let's reverse things. What if Robert was the one sitting here right now, and you were missing? Would you have expected him to call?
Well, yes.
If he's living on your property?
Yes.
Why?
Because because I got up every morning and fed my animals, and every evening I fed my animals, and
what's the difference
Right,
between you
yeah.
and him?
because I never
I mean, he's a person too who has a life too. It may not be as involved as yours, but he still has his daily routine.
Well, he didn't. He didn't have a daily routine.
Well,
What?
he certainly had to eat.
Yeah.
You said that he ate food up at the barn.
Yeah, but I wouldn't necessarily see him. I didn't see him for a week at a time.
Okay.
And
but you would expect that he would report you missing after 3 months.
well, probably after a few days, because my pigs would be making all kinds of noise, and
Susan,
so
they found a leg by your house.
Appears to be an ankle,
Figgity.
knee joint.
Just straight up.
a leg.
A human leg next to your place.
When someone repeats a question, this can sometimes indicate deception because the person is trying to buy themselves some time to think. She doesn't appear to be surprised or shocked about this news. However, it's possible that limited facial expressions are typical for her, or that she's good at hiding her emotions. Susan has gone very, very still here.
Wow.
This is called the freeze response. It is part of the body's autonomic nervous system fight, flight, or freeze stress response. This type of freezing is often a reaction when someone perceives a threat. Though they aren't moving, the person experiencing a freeze response is often extremely alert.
I think it might be Robert.
Don't know.
Don't know.
Who could it be?
No idea.
You think it might be Robert?
I guess I should ask where it was. If it was down there by his trailer.
No. It was right next to your place.
Wow.
Just a few feet from your place.
I don't know then. If it were down by his trailer, he might have fallen down the hill or something. But if it was up at my place, I don't know.
Wow.
That's it.
That's it? You don't know? Like,
Do you think it's kind of strange that there's a leg right next to your place?
and there's someone
Very.
missing?
Does it concern you?
Yes.
Wow.
Do you think it might be Robert?
It could be, but I can't understand why. I can't understand how it. I can't understand how it would get there because I can't see him having an accident up by my place.
How
Right?
do you think it got there? What's your best reasoning for how it got there?
What?
I have no idea.
What do you think we should do at this point?
Arrest
I mean,
me.
are you worried about Robert? Do you think it might be him?
I would definitely get a DNA test. Find out if it were.
Do you think if we search the 19.99 acres that we're going to find any other parts of people?
If it's Robert's leg, I guess the rest of him is there somewhere.
So you think a coyote drug it right next to your house?
That would be the only thing that would make any sense to me.
Yeah, because he
What
gave
did
you
he
the
have
idea.
to Robert? What did he do?
I have no
Because he
idea.
gave you the idea, bro. Like, the only way you get to find out that shit is because he gave you the idea, bro. If he would not give you no idea, there's no way that he was going to give you.
Did he do something to you?
There's no way that you came up with this idea. He gave you the idea, bro. This is 2 hours.
No.
You know, you described your property as this, what I envisioned when you were describing it, a really peaceful
The
place.
water.
Yes.
The water is a sign, too.
And you seem
Right?
like kind of a quiet person who
Narr-
would enjoy being out away
Narrator
from people and
is
not, you know,
the
around
water
where things are
something
loud.
about...
I mean, you said yourself you don't even have the radio on in the car, and you're smart. You do well with your money.
The detective compliments Susan in an attempt to gain her trust. He knows that Susan thinks she's very smart, and by using flattery here, he hopes to distract and disarm her a bit. And it seems to work.
You like your animals. You like your privacy and the quiet out there. That's why you picked the place.
Yes.
Because it's out in the middle of nowhere, really. It's beautiful out there. I think it's beautiful.
Getting there slowly.
So you have
On the
this
light, I mean, you
peaceful,
just...
tranquil place,
On.
and you try to help somebody out because it sounds like you are a person who likes to help people out.
Yeah.
You're trying to support 4 people right now.
Well,
You're trying to take care of them. You're trying to
most
be good with using their money and helping them out to be smarter and not just
Yeah.
drink a 12-pack and get wasted.
Right.
So you seem like a legitimately good person who's trying to do the right thing. And then along comes Robert, and you try to help him out. But for some reason with Robert, you know, he has these episodes.
This is strategic because the questions about Robert likely sound to Susan that the detective believes she is responsible for his death. Saying that she's a legitimately good person is part of the detective's theme development. He's trying to make her believe that he thinks she wouldn't kill someone for no reason to get her to confess. He wants her to latch on to this line of thinking. She's a good person who made a mistake and had a reason to do what she did. This will likely be much easier for her to admit to, especially when the alternative is that she's a cold-blooded murderer who had the intent to kill Robert. The detective also mentions Robert's episodes as a way of giving Susan an out to explain that she killed Robert because he was being aggressive with her.
And I'm not,
Well,
it's
Brady,
not what you're making up.
Well, I mean, Brady has episodes
Okay,
too.
well, let's focus on Robert, though.
Okay.
Robert had some issues.
Yes.
Everyone knows that. It's actually documented in police reports.
Okay.
It's unclear exactly what the interrogator is referring to by documented in police reports. However, this could be reference to an incident where Susan's neighbors called the police because they heard Robert making a lot of noise. He was allegedly drunk at the time. What exactly transpired
All I'm
before
saying
the
is
police
that he
were
can't
called
lie.
and when they arrived on the scene is unknown.
All I
He was a
know,
guy who-
all I know, he can't lie in that room. That's all I know. That's all I know. That's all I know. He cannot lie in that room.
who could get loud and drunk and cause problems.
This is what they catch you. He cannot lie, but he can twist his words. It's 2 different things. Twisting the words and lying is 2 different things.
And pretty much ruin that peaceful, tranquil place that you have out there.
The detective is explaining that Susan is a good person who liked to help people, but perhaps Robert got loud and drunk and disrupted the tranquility and solitude she likes to have. He's attempting to give her another excuse for harming him in a scenario that's somewhat understandable to her. He hopes Susan will run with this theory and confess to her true involvement.
No.
And I'm guessing that's what he did at times.
Well, he did that at times, but he was the only time that I was disturbed by him was when he was making a whole bunch of noise. And
but you went and talked to him, right?
Yeah.
What'd you guys talk about? I mean, you must have certainly, what I would have done is say, hey, you're living here on my property. It's exactly what I said. You're living here on my property.
Yeah.
You don't need problems with the neighbors. Keep it down or leave.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Well,
What'd you tell him?
pretty much the same thing, but I didn't say he had to go. I just said be quiet. Because
But it didn't stop with that.
Well, that was the only time that I really heard him.
All right. Well, we know of other times.
Well, I don't.
The detective is trying to plant a seed of doubt in Susan's head by making her think they know about other instances, leaving her feeling unsure about anything else they might know. In Brady's interview, he goes on to say something completely unexpected that shocks the interrogators.
I can't imagine her.
Okay.
I really can't imagine her doing it.
Okay. Dude, what? I don't understand.
The murder, the guy's missing.
The murder?
You guys are.
Brady appears to possibly be intoxicated and is rather incoherent at times. He describes the situation and investigation as a murder, something which he isn't supposed to know. The detectives jump on him immediately about his use of this term, as they never mention murder to him and want him to elaborate on this possible slip-up.
You said murder. What do you mean by
Well,
murder?
to kill somebody, somebody's missing there. I couldn't imagine her doing it.
So tell me about Robert. How
He was a cool guy.
cool guy? How long were you around him?
Couple months.
Couple months.
Yeah. I only knew him for a couple. As a matter of fact, I owed him $10.
Okay.
It sucks that I'm never going to be able to. But he always told me.
Yeah.
Every day.
What?
I hope my kids can get my stuff. Because I think she's going to kill me.
He told you that?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. So tell me about that. When, what made him say that? Tell me about his relationship with Susan.
See, I don't know that. They didn't get along.
They didn't.
No.
And she said she has no idea what's happened to him. You know, he's gone. That's not a lot. She hadn't talked a lot about it.
When did she first start talking about she didn't know where? Is that before you moved in? Did she start talking about, hey, he's not around anymore? Or is that after you moved in?
While talking about Robert, Brady's body language is closed off. Take a look at his feet. Having his ankles tucked up under his chair is not a comfortable seated position and indicates his significant discomfort. Notice throughout his interview whether his legs are out in front of him or tucked away under his chair with his ankles tightly locked.
And the hands,
This is another indicator of anxiety and is a guarded stance.
Actually, kind of when I moved in, when we really come out, I realized that, wow, this is big. This guy's missing, and I'm thinking this could get big. That's about that time.
And why did you think he was getting big? Because, I mean, did she think that maybe he just left? I mean, what was she telling you?
He leans back, rubbing his head with his hand, all of which are signs of uneasiness.
I never knew that that's actually a thing. The movies, when they scratch their heads, I don't know, that's actually a thing. I never knew that. Well, I guess the movie influenced us to do that.
Stephanie telling me that she talks about feeding her pigs to you guys heard that.
Well, tell us.
I don't to feed people their pigs.
What?
She has over here.
Why are they doing that, bro? They scare me, not to lie.
I'm sure it's a joke.
So, well, tell us
But
what
she
you
didn't even get her,
Brady insists this is just a joke several times in this short span of time.
It's a joke. It's a joke.
It's a joke.
Sure, it's a joke.
People sometimes repeat things over and over to try to convince others of the truth of the statement.
So tell us about what you know about that. Like, she's saying this stuff.
You guys, I really, really seriously doubt it. I know her pretty good over the years, you guys, that Susan could do anything like that.
Saying really, really seriously could be considered a qualifier, which is often stated when a person isn't being truthful or is withholding information. Robert says this as he's moving his head back and forth, seeming uncomfortable and fidgety. Typically, when a person is being honest, there are no unusual or jerky movements. The body moves smoothly, as in Michael's interview, where there's no evidence of unusual mannerisms or movements.
And and we're not sitting here saying that she did or didn't. We don't know. We're here to talk to you, and we're here to hear your side of what you know. So I mean, there's some statements that you're saying that she beats people to the pig. I mean, like what is she?
Well, she mentioned before, joking around.
Okay, and tell me about that conversation you're having with her when she's saying.
Well, no, Stephanie was telling me her guy's missing, and she's ironic. The kid's saying, she's telling feeding pigs to people. And now somebody's missing here, it was a joke.
Okay.
It
Really.
was a joke.
So you didn't actually hear her say that?
No, I was serious.
Stephanie told you that she said that?
Yeah.
And when was that conversation you had with Stephanie then?
I don't know. A week ago. Yeah, I think I've heard her mention that over the years. I think Susan has mentioned how big are my pigs a few times. She had pigs forever.
Yeah.
I think so. I'm not sure.
It seems that Brady is trying to reveal bits and pieces about Susan's more negative or concerning qualities.
Wow.
But at the same time, he's trying to protect her.
Yeah.
Brady may be doing this in order to protect himself because he might be unsure of how much the detectives know. It's possible that Brady doesn't want to completely claim that Susan is innocent. He wants to reveal some concerns or suspicions about her to cover himself in the event that the detectives discover that she did in fact murder Robert.
And he knew
Michael,
about it.
on the other hand, isn't trying to hide his suspicions about the type of person Susan is,
He's
which
snitch.
is why he presents so much calmer than Brady during his questioning.
He's a rat. He's a
Do you think
snitch.
Robert
Figured
got into the pig pen and they attacked him?
Susan sighs, likely to release her nervous energy.
Well, if you found a leg
Never mind.
in the
I'm gonna
pig
do it
pen,
later.
I would say that's possible.
Would your pigs eat a person? A
Yeah.
pig's an animal. They don't know any better.
Yeah, no, I've heard of pigs eating people all the time, and like I say, I've joked about it, and then I have a weird sense of humor.
There's a deviation in her behavior here. Susan's
What?
speech isn't as fluent as it typically is.
Oh.
Oftentimes, deviations in a person's usual behaviors and manner of speech during an interrogation is a possible indication of lying. She sounds
Really?
unsure and hesitant, as if she's watching her words and being cautious.
When I told you that there was a leg by your place, your expression didn't change. It doesn't seem like it's that big of a deal.
It is.
Well, certainly if I found a leg by my house, I'd be freaked out.
Yeah.
Well,
I'll call the cops.
out, but
Yo, bro, if I find anything weird in that park, I'm calling the cops ASAP.
very surprised. It's just,
Well, the leg goes to a person. They're
well, I don't even know
obviously dead.
I don't even know that you're telling the truth.
Susan is kind of turning the tables here because the detective has been doubting her truthfulness, so now she's doubting his. She appears to be educated about the fact that police sometimes lie during interrogations.
They can't.
And she might enjoy pointing this out to the
They can't, no?
detective, as she may think
I
this
s-
knowledge is further proof of how smart she is.
I am telling the truth.
Well, I don't know that. You just might be making up stories to get me to say something else.
They can't, no? I swear I heard that somewhere.
Well, I'm not lying to you. I am telling you the truth.
Well, like I say, I don't know that.
I'm just looking for Robert, and I'm worried that that leg.
Well, this
It's
morning,
Robert.
this morning you were looking for a Oregon Trail card. So, I don't know.
It seems like Susan feels like she beat the detective, in this round at least, because she turns her body towards him in a more confident manner. As she's likely feeling more self-assured, she mentions that finding the leg is immaterial evidence anyways. The detective then cuts the conversation, as he likely doesn't want any tension to build, nor for Susan to build up confidence. Sure enough, when he returns, he makes small talk about Susan's sandwich to diffuse the tension.
You get a couple bites?
I need one.
Oh, well,
Just one. Well, you said a couple, not one.
Well, I'll use another one later.
After the two detectives regroup outside the interrogation room, the second detective begins a new tactic with Susan in the hopes that this will get her to admit to something.
So, Susan, I don't think I introduced myself very well. I'm Detective Eric Fox. One of the things
Eric
that I
Fox.
do is I'm a medical examiner, deputy medical examiner. So that's one of the reasons why I'm here is because I help determine cause and manner of death.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, there's a human leg there. Okay, it's
Possibly, yes.
Well, it's
I'm
human.
still not.
It's human. I can guarantee you that.
Okay.
Okay. And it's somewhat decomposed. I mean,
Mhm.
it's been around for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So obviously, it came from a person. Right. So.
Well, that's like I said, the only.
When she says, like I
Oh,
said,
shit, we
she's
go for
using
4
what's
hours.
known as a referral statement. This is often done to help build credibility. The more someone says something, the more believable it becomes because each repetition lessens our disbelief.
The only logical explanation I would have is if it were somewhere other than in the pig pen,
Right.
that a coyote might have
Some
grabbed it.
animal or whatever.
Well,
moved it.
I don't know any other animal.
I've been watching Detective Henderson talk to you, and I kind of got an impression of kind of the type of person you are. That you're kind of a very logical person.
Mm-hmm.
You can memorize numbers. You see things kind of linear in facts.
The medical examiner is trying to build rapport with Susan and appeal to her high sense of her own intelligence.
Fire.
He also tries to normalize her lack of reaction to the news of the leg by saying she's very logical and linear in her thinking versus her being a sociopath or guilty of killing someone and feeling no emotion about it. This is an attempt to get her to open up to him.
You know, you into Star Trek at all?
Yeah, I remember Star Trek. I was
Okay,
when I was a kid watching it.
I'm 95% Vulcan.
Vulcan. There you go.
And 5% Klingon.
So it's right on, right?
Yeah.
Comparing herself to fictional Star Trek characters such as the Klingon, it shows that Susan identifies with violent creatures that have a strong sense of ritual and must do things their own way.
So,
yes.
So
logic. Yes, I'm very logical.
So you can see what's next in line here, probably.
Well, that's, yes.
I think you can anticipate what's happening. Like you said, human leg by your house.
Right. The only logical explanation would be,
Uh-huh.
you know, that okay, to go in the other direction. If I had killed him, why would I leave him out by my house?
Right. Well, there's always kill somewhere else, leave somewhere, bury somewhere, and then an animal moves from that location. I mean, that's always possible too, right? Had you killed him?
Yeah.
So that's possible.
Yeah.
Susan begins to appear
What?
more uneasy and anxious when discussing the possibility of her killing Robert. Perhaps just mentioning killing him created a fear response in her, as you can hear her breathing become more labored. As well, she's fidgeting with her hands.
She
and
did
her
say
voice
yes.
is shaky. These are all adapters to try to calm oneself down in a tense situation.
So no matter what, something had separated this leg from the main portion of the body, and it moved it towards your house.
Right.
In his interview, Michael sheds a bit more light on the state of his relationship with Susan and how it deteriorated.
Because I had gotten upset because she started screaming too much at me. I've been married. I'm sure you guys are married. I don't deal with that very well. I said, go fuck yourself. And I moved out. And then I went and talked to him that same day. Last words I spoke to him was, I'm out of here, bro. I love you. I shook his hand, and he said, dude, I envy you. I wish I could move out of here. She's going to kill me. And, well, apparently she did.
The other thing that I was kind of interested in, Susan, is here's a person that came to your house and is now clearly missing, and you hadn't seen him for a while.
Yes.
Are there other people that have came to your house and unexpectedly left their property and left that place? I mean,
When Susan is asked if other people have gone missing from her property,
she paused.
She makes a couple anchor point movements, such as shifting both feet. She also brings her hands in closer together, which could be a sign of anxiety at this question.
Wow.
Remember this part, because this question about other people disappearing on her property becomes sickeningly important later.
Where's that noise?
Gotta narrow in
Yo, stop doing that,
you
bro.
know, obviously, we've got to take this and get DNA.
Bro, stop doing that,
make
bro.
A comparison. So I'm making sure there's nobody else that we might have to try to make a comparison. I don't want to just assume that this is Mr. Haney. Right?
Yes. Now, the last person to stay at my property was over a year ago, and his name was Pon. He is a Oriental guy.
So Pon had been at your place. What happened to Pon?
Wow.
He went somewhere. I heard from him 2 or 3 months ago, and he was thinking about moving back to my place.
Okay. So you know Pon still exists then? He's not disappeared, he's not deceased on your property, so.
Well, you have to find him, don't you?
Well,
whoa!
Yeah. Well, we would, wouldn't we?
Gosh, my stupid sense of humor.
Right.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Back it up, back it up, back it up, back it up. Whoa! That scared me, gang, not gonna lie.
Told you about this missing person? Nothing. I don't know much about it. They just get the heebie-jeebies, but when you guys have talked about it, it kind of freaked them out. Didn't me that much.
The detective confronts Brady, and he ends his response with an awkward laugh and continues with the jerky body movements, demonstrating his discomfort. Brady's inopportune laugh could be his way of self-soothing or making light of a situation where he feels uncomfortable or nervous.
I don't think so. I don't. They're a little more lyrious. They don't know Sue like I know her. Haven't you guys? Sue, that's all glean. And she's worked for the city and worked for people, you know.
What city
And
does she
she's
work for?
good. She's a good body. She's a good person. She's peculiar, you know. And that's what, you know, people don't understand.
A lot of people are.
I can't see her doing it. Yeah. Well, I can't see her doing that. I really can't see her doing that, you guys.
So why do you say that, Gilbert?
Well, because why?
Do you think
Really?
someone is
Yeah.
thinking she
Well,
did
why
something,
say
or-
that? Why say that? I don't think Susan could do that. I mean that, but I think that now what she told me, I don't know if you guys have looked at it. I'm sure you have, but she was adamant about him telling her that someone who was his daughter, he was crazy drunk about it and screaming and hollering several nights. I'll kill him. I'll kill him. No, that's what she told me. And he was crazy about it. It's his daughter.
So he's screaming, yelling. I mean, did she ever say anything about them having domestics or fights or anything?
No, she got along with him pretty good, I think. I think she got along with him. She said he was a good worker.
You know, right when we started, you mentioned about, well, I don't think she did it. I don't think she would murder someone or kill someone. I don't remember the exact words you used. I guess the question we're asking, what makes you think we even think that? Where did this come from?
Sue done it?
Yeah, where did this come
Why
from?
wouldn't you think Sue may have done it? Heaven's sake. That's, huh?
Well, he's missing, right?
He's missing.
So,
It's on her property.
Notice Brady's word choice here. He
Yeah,
said it was on her property, and yet at this point, he hasn't been informed about the gruesome discovery found on Susan's land.
I've done lots of missing people cases where people call in, they say, hey, so-and-so used to live here, but they left.
Well, you guys have showed up there. You've been there, you know, and she said, she told me that you guys are looking into it.
Okay, there you go. So when did she tell you that?
I don't know, a week ago or.
But why
I
does
know
she?
she
Yeah, the
suspects
reason
you
we're
guys
trying to
are
understand
on.
what you're saying.
Well, I can understand that you guys can understand somebody missing from property, and so she kind of gave me that same impression, you know. But she didn't seem real concerned about it now.
What does she think happened to this?
She hasn't, you know, she hasn't really. I haven't really asked her a lot about it, but she hasn't offered. She hasn't offered much information on that.
What do you believe our next step in this investigation is going to be?
Well, I would say
Wow, bro, this
look
is.
in the pig pen and see if you find any more parts, and especially clothing.
Where else would we look, do you think? Do you think we would look other places too?
My neighbors are Karen and Lorna are over here. So when he went crazy, they heard him and they hear everything, and then complaining to you guys. and to the county and everybody else. And that's why I lost my hair a couple of years ago.
Susan has been deflecting with generic statements prior to this, but this comment is way off topic and may be meant to elicit sympathy from the detectives.
Because the county had come out and said I needed to clean up my place or I was going to get fined $600, and I had no idea where I was going to get $600. So for 2 nights I didn't sleep. And then immediately after that I started.
Susan pushes on her forehead with her hand, which is known as facial distortion. This behavior often happens when someone is feeling especially anxious or upset. Susan's land is very important to her, and the thought of losing it was likely very stressful for her.
I'm very self-conscious. I've always been...
Man, stop crying.
I've always been somewhat of a loner. And now... I'm very much more of a loner. I don't go anywhere. Since shortly after this happened, I have not been able to look in a mirror. For the last 2 years, I have not looked in a mirror. I take a cloth, I wipe my face. I've not been able to take a bath in 2 years.
What the...
We can't say for certain if this is true, but the information Susan is providing here could indicate that she might have begun to mentally and emotionally decompensate 2 years ago when she began losing her hair. Abandoning hygiene is an indication of severe mental and emotional problems.
Wow.
And then today I go ahead and you people won't let me go down and relieve myself, so I'm walking around for an hour and a half in my pants.
Susan refers to the officers as you people, showing her disdain for them, and it's a sign of disrespect. Notice that both officers are sitting leaning forward towards her with their elbows on their knees.
Yeah.
They're trying to get Susan to mirror this position, which is often seen when someone breaks down and confesses. This position is a sign of resignation.
She's about to do it. Any minute now. She's close.
What do you think the chances are we're going to find the rest of Robert?
When Susan finishes her story about her hair, the officers have no response to her whatsoever and just dive right back into the facts of the case and questioning her. It's a little surprising that they offer no empathy towards her after her long-winded story about how badly she feels about herself. By not acknowledging her feelings, the detective may have damaged the rapport that he had built with Susan so far.
The only place that I would be able to say would be if it were in the gully between where his stuff is and the trailer. He might have fallen down. But you guys have been down there. I was down there. I never saw anything.
Susan, have you ever fed your pigs any other animals before?
No. A couple of weeks ago, I went and made some stew when I had to put the bones in the liquid to add flavor to it before I made the meal.
What do the pigs do when they eat the bones like that? Do they crunch them all up?
Most of the bones. I know there's a big skull out in the back pen of one of the pigs.
Pig skull?
Yes.
So they didn't eat up the skull then?
No.
So if a human ended up in there, then it's not likely they'd eat up the human skull then either, would they?
Well, a pig skull is a lot bigger.
Mm-hmm. Back to the start here. Susan, our intention is to go find the rest of this person.
Yes.
And we're going to search.
Yes.
Until we do find the rest of this person. And then we're going to compare. You know, we're going to make sure that the parts that we find do belong to the same person. And then we're going to get DNA and we're going to compare and make sure either it's Robert or if it's somebody else.
Well, I mean,
we need to know if you have any knowledge of anything that happened to him, that now would probably be the time to tell us.
When there's a delay in responding, this can sometimes indicate deception. A pause is appropriate when a question requires thought. However, other questions, like whether Susan knows what happened to Robert, should be easy to answer if she didn't have anything to do with it.
Yeah.
Sometimes, Susan, things happen that we have no control over, or we didn't know was going to happen, or for various reasons, and we hide things out of fear or embarrassment.
This is...
The detectives start using the read technique, offering alternate explanations for why she did what she did, and offering a less morally despicable explanation by saying things like, things just happen, and people make mistakes. This is to get her to latch onto one of these explanations and confess to some involvement. They're doing this now because they can see Susan is feeling defeated and has lost some resolve in sticking with her lies.
If my pigs did eat Robert, would you kill my pigs?
What kind of question is that?
This is an odd question and possibly Susan's way of deflecting the suspicion away from herself. However, it's possible that this is another example of Susan's black and white thinking. In her mind, killing the pigs would be wrong because it's not their fault that they ate something in their pen. The pigs don't have morals that would keep them from eating a person, so she doesn't think it would be fair for her pigs to die for doing something that they can't control.
So you die.
You mentioned an incident to us where Susan held you into the pig area. Tell me about that.
I thought she was just joking, but she's a big woman. Don't get me wrong. She's bigger than you are. She just lifted me up and held me over the pig farm because I was looking at her pigs, and she knows I'm scared of them. I'm scared of them.
Right.
I would never get in there. But anyway, I was looking at her, and she held me over and laughed. And then she told me, I would like to see how fast my pigs could get rid of a human body.
Are those pigs friendly?
Huh?
Are those pigs friendly out there?
No.
No? They're aggressive? Aggressive?
Wow.
So was she mad at you at the time, or does that
No.
just seem like something just kind of
I
happened?
thought it was funny.
Okay.
You know, I thought she was kidding.
Okay, so you guys weren't involved in an argument with that?
No.
According to Michael, she laughed as she said these words.
Wow.
If this is true, this could be an indication that Susan may have some sadistic traits, as she might derive enjoyment from inflicting harm on
She
others,
just looks
or at
crazy.
the very least, from bullying or threatening others. Oftentimes, people with antisocial personality disorder have sadistic tendencies. We can't draw any conclusions about Susan's diagnosis, but with this information being revealed by Michael, there's a possibility that Susan may have derived pleasure from thinking about and acting on feeding a human being to her pigs.
Large
Wow.
pig there.
Susan, why
That's a
don't you just
big
tell
fat
us
pig.
what happened?
Note that Susan uses her drink to stall as she speaks
Yeah.
and then begins to sigh heavily. She first raises her hand to cover her eyes when she's asked to tell the detectives what happened and does it again now. When detectives see all of these things together, especially the eye blocking, it
Yeah.
can be a sign of deception as the deceptive person doesn't want to face the reaction from the other person.
Whoa.
Everything that I told you was the truth. Up until about a week after Bobby had called me. I don't know when, but sometime about a week after Bobby had called, I went down. He was like half eaten.
Wait, what?
By what?
By the pigs.
Okay.
He was like half eaten by the pigs. It was early in the morning. And,
Wow. Wow.
I saw what had happened.
Nah, I gotta update this. This is
Disgusting
annoying
all
me.
over
I'm
the
sorry,
place.
chat. I'm sorry, chat. I'm sorry. I gotta fix this. I gotta fix this. I am so sorry. I gotta fix this. Update, man. Update. There you go. My bad. This. That one, and I also gotta fix the alert. Wow.
He was still alive. I knew he wasn't going to be alive for more than a few more minutes.
Here she is covering her mouth with her hand as she says this, which could be another clue of deception. People who are lying sometimes hide their mouth, attempting to cover the lie.
Wow.
I went back up to my house and I got a gun and shot him in the head.
What?
If it was true that Susan found her pigs eating Robert, most people would have immediately either gone to try to help him and or called 911.
Yeah.
When Susan says this, her mouth is covered by her hand, almost blocking the words coming out of her mouth. It's possible that Susan's trying to hide her emotions by covering her mouth because maybe the sadness she's trying to express is feigned.
I didn't want my pigs to be shot.
Oh my God.
For not doing something that the natural causes. Well, pigs get hungry. If he was out there, I don't know what happened to start with. If he went out and started doing something to them, I can't see that my pigs would go ahead and do something to somebody without cause.
There's a deviation in her behavior here because she's much louder and there's more emotion in her voice compared to just moments ago when she was describing how she supposedly found Robert half-eaten and shot him. It's possible that this change in tone of voice is an indication of tension, as a change in pitch is often a sign of emotional stress. It's also safe to say that Susan simply feels more strongly about her pig's well-being than she does about Robert.
Bro, that's crazy.
They've always been very friendly with me. They still are very friendly with me. I didn't want to say anything, and because I was afraid you were going to go out and shoot my pigs.
That's not going to happen right now, okay? We're going to look into that, but tell me, back at the beginning, how did you know Robert was there? Did you hear noise? What happened?
I came down in the morning. I can say this was maybe, it was over a month since I have seen him last, because it was about that time when Bobby had called me to ask me what was going on, and I told him I have no idea. And
so he had been gone.
He had been gone over a month.
Okay.
He had been gone over a month. I came down to feed my animals, and I heard this moaning and stuff.
Did you hear screaming?
No, not really a scream.
Just moaning.
Moaning more, and his guts were out, and he was still alive.
Again, she covers her mouth as she says he was still alive, possibly signifying that she's not telling the truth about this. Touching one's face is also a self-soothing technique.
And how did you know he was alive?
I could see his arm.
No, play.
And was he still moaning?
Wait, what?
I could see his arm moving.
I thought she said heart.
Yeah, it was moaning a little bit. And
so what did you do then?
I yelled at the pigs, and they were doing their thing. They're just, having lunch or breakfast. They were having breakfast on him.
Wow.
And I could see that, there was no way he was going to get to the hospital and live. I didn't think he was going to live more than a few more minutes.
Did he say anything to you?
No, he didn't say anything. He was just moaning.
So, you went back into your house.
I went up and got my rifle and I shot him in the head.
How many times?
I don't know.
More than once?
I don't know.
The not remembering is very unusual. When someone has a selective memory, this can sometimes be a deceptive indicator. However, it's difficult to prove that someone is lying when they say they don't remember. It seems as though Susan doesn't want to admit how many times she shot Robert. If she admits that she shot him multiple times, she may be concerned that will make her look more guilty.
I have no idea.
So you're sure you did it
Wow.
once,
Yes.
but you're not sure if you did it more than
What is up with people, man?
I don't know.
So after you shot him, then what happened?
After I shot him.
Did he die immediately?
Yes.
And then what'd you do?
I went and fed my other animals, and I just left him there.
And so, as far as you know, he was never moved from that
No.
big place. What reason do you think that
I
he
have
would
no
be in the
I have
pig
no
pen?
idea why he would go in the pig pen. I have none at all.
Susan begins answering the detective's question before he even finishes asking it, which is something to take note of.
Wait,
When suspects take either too long to answer a simple question or
Yeah.
interrupt to answer a question. It could be because they're not being honest.
Oh.
Answering too quickly shows an overeagerness to tell their side and defend themselves, while a long pause shows the person is carefully considering the answer they want to give or concocting a lie on the spot.
Got
Were
you.
you angry at him when he came back?
I didn't see him come back. I was angry at him and angry at him and my pigs for what happened.
For what happened? Don't cry, bro.
The pen area that you're talking about, is that going to be right by the
South of the barn.
south of the barn?
South of the barn.
Pretty close to the barn? How close do you think it was to the barn?
Where his body was?
Wow. Back of barn.
40 feet.
And so what happened, after you fed the rest of your animals
Wow.
and then checked to see, obviously the pigs are going to do what they're going to do. You can't stop them.
Right.
So if they're going to come back to them, if you originally maybe you were trying to shoo them off, but obviously leaving him there, they're going to eat him, right?
Yes.
Susan covers her face, displaying that she either is ashamed of what she did or feels overly stressed. Hiding her face psychologically removes her a little from the situation and the direct glare of the interrogator.
So, did you check back to see?
A couple days later. Well, no, I mean every day. And
Did you ever move any part of him out of the pen? I mean, there's got to be some parts that aren't eaten, like you said, they don't eat clothes, right?
Wow.
2 days later, when most of him was gone, I went in there and I picked up the clothes.
No heart at all, bro.
The few parts that were left. What was left? There was the skull and an arm, and I'm not sure. I know there was the skull. If you go back out to my barn, and when you go, let me draw you a little picture. What's left of him is in a couple of plastic bags right there.
Okay.
Susan appears to be at least somewhat bothered by picking up Robert's remains. The fact that she left his body there for 2 days could suggest that she wanted the pigs to destroy the evidence.
Where did you shoot him at?
I shot him in the head. I did not look to see where I was shooting him. I just took the rifle and shot.
Was he laying on his back, his side?
On his back.
So, most likely anything would have been like.
I don't know. I didn't look. I saw his his guts laying on his back.
Wow.
I knew there was no way for him to be alive more than a couple more minutes. I went up to the house, I got my rifle, I just went like this, I just turned my head and I shot. And then I didn't see any more I didn't see his heart move or any more moaning, and I left.
Did you ever think it was possible that maybe if you got an ambulance there, they might be able to do something for him?
No. I didn't. I had I didn't think he was going to. There was no way. I mean, an ambulance takes half an hour to get to him. There was no way he was going to live more than another couple of minutes.
Wow.
And I did pretty much the way I do everything else. I do not like to see an animal suffer. I did not like to see him suffering.
Comparing Robert to one of her pigs suggests that she has difficulty understanding social norms, as it's not socially appropriate to compare ending a human's life to ending a pig's life.
Yeah.
The bag that has the skull and the other few remaining parts in it, did you ever try to destroy those at all, or did you just put them in the bag?
I couldn't think about anything. The burn barrel's right there.
Hey, yo, who's still here? Comment if you're here. I'm gonna comment myself. Look. Comment if you're here. Please. I gotta know. Please. I gotta know. 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 If you're here. I gotta know. If you're here. Yo. I gotta comment. I gotta know if you're here. Let me comment myself and be like, yo. Here. Hey, yo, Off City, what up?
Okay. And the clothes are still in there.
They're burnt up.
Was there anything else that you might have put in there that burned up? Like maybe a wallet might have been in there. You don't know.
I don't know. I didn't go through his stuff.
Are the ashes still in there, or did you?
Yes. No. No. I haven't emptied the burn barrel. It's half full of ashes.
Wow.
Were you worried using his card though, after you knew that he was dead, that you would get caught?
No. I didn't really think about it.
Susan, I'm a little concerned on this.
Why?
And I appreciate you being honest about what you've told us. If there's a piece here missing, it seems to me. That here's a person that never goes into that pig pen.
I don't know.
Never feeds those pigs.
I don't know.
And then he ends up in there mysteriously.
I don't know if he ever, like I say,
Did he come after you and threaten you? And something happened, Susan?
No. He never came after me or threatened me for any reason.
Did he do something to you or your place that caused you to do something?
No.
He never did anything to me. The only thing he ever did to me was make a big mess. Right. And I'm not shooting somebody because I made a mess.
Because you got to see through my eyes that this story seems convenient.
Wow.
I have no
this
idea.
Is actually.
I have no idea. I have no idea how he got in there or why he would go in there. I don't know.
Did you ever hear her make threats toward Robert? Like, I'd like to kill that guy, or I'm gonna do this with him, or that?
Yeah, I heard her say, I will shut him up. And I don't know if that's a threat, but she shut him up, I guess.
So he never
Wow.
threatened you, never came up in a drunken rage, come back to your house mad about somebody stealing his stuff or doing anything of that nature?
No.
The detective is presenting Susan with possible justifications for her killing him.
Because you have the right to defend yourself. You know that. If something happened to you...
No. If he had come up to my house and threatened me and I had shot him, I would have called you immediately. Are
you frightened of the pigs?
No. I'm not frightened at all. I've never been frightened of them. I had a 940-pound pig. And he would kill me in a minute if he wanted to. But he was very gentle. When he was about 400 pounds or something, I walked by him, and I was scratching the back of his neck. And he hit me with his head and put a cut in my leg right here.
Wow.
That's the only time any of my animals have ever hurt me at all. And he was not being mean. He was not being mean at all to me. He just twitched his head and he went 3 times or twice, but I did, and he just put a little cut in my leg and knocked me down. Our pigs are not mean.
Wow.
Although covering one's mouth can be an indicator of deception, it's possible that this is not the case for Susan. This may be a typical behavior for her when she's feeling emotional. It's possible that she wants to appear strong, and she may feel that showing emotion is weak. By covering her mouth when she's upset, she may be trying to create a barrier between her and the detectives as a way to hide her feelings from them.
Yeah.
The fact that she's covering her mouth while she tells the story about her pig hurting her lends support to the theory that this is her attempt to hide her emotions, rather than to cover a lie, as it wouldn't make sense for her to be dishonest about getting cut by her pig. This is why it's important to not make any judgments about whether someone is being dishonest simply based off of one deceptive indicator. You need to look at the whole picture, not just one small piece of the puzzle.
And I do not know why. I do not know why he was out there. I do not know if he had been out there previous to that time. And I have no idea what happened to make them do that to him.
Susan, would you be willing to take a lie detector test?
Yes.
Susan immediately agrees to take a polygraph exam. She may believe she can pass it, as she clearly believes she's smarter than the officers.
No problems at all?
No problem.
And obviously the issue would be, did you shoot him after the pigs attacked him, or did you shoot him first and then take
I shot him after the pigs. He was laying on the ground with his guts out.
Okay, I'm just asking
Wow.
if you'd be willing to take the test.
He was laying, yes.
Wow.
Interestingly, Brady reports that Susan has a hard time killing the pigs, contrary to her statement earlier when she made jokes about butchering them.
Yeah.
She loves pigs. She loves them. She has a hard time butchering them, actually.
She what?
She actually has a hard time butchering them.
Butchering them, okay.
She does.
So you've mentioned that you've heard her say, kidding around and feed people to the pigs and all that stuff. Has she ever talked about doing that?
No.
It's possible that Susan uses humor as a coping mechanism when she's feeling uncomfortable or stressed. Making light about something she actually finds emotionally difficult may be her way of proving to other people that she isn't weak.
That makes sense.
Like Detective Fox is talking about, it does really sound like it's more of a story of convenience, of something that, it's explainable, but it doesn't really make that much sense. We understand that you are saying that you shot him, okay?
I still don't know if you actually found a leg or anything, but if you did find
we did.
If you found a leg,
Shall I go get a photo of it?
yeah.
I'll be back.
As far as like the skeletal structure of a person,
When that looks like a leg.
it is.
Okay.
Okay.
If it's in the grass, then it had I don't know. In the
Susan appears distressed about seeing the photo of the leg. Flipping it over was her way of reducing her stress. Out of sight, out of mind. This avoidance behavior is similar to her story about how she didn't go check the pig pen for a couple days after Robert was killed. Instead of coping with something difficult, someone with anxiety may choose to avoid certain things or situations.
Yeah.
I could not look at him.
So
All I heard was a little bit of moaning, and one arm was moving a little bit.
And you also just mentioned that you don't like it when if you had a pig out here in the barn, you wouldn't be able to shoot them humanely.
Yes.
Right. So it was important to have a good shot on a pig so that it doesn't suffer.
Yes, but
So when you-
Robert, I mean, that's a human being laying there.
I understand that. I understand that you didn't look from what you're saying, but
Yeah.
you at least place the end of the muzzle close to somewhere where you thought
I
that
was
would be a humane shot.
I was probably maybe a foot and a half from his head.
The end of the barrel?
Yes.
Okay. And was there a reason for that?
Well, I couldn't look at him and take aim or anything. He was
Standing
he
up.
was laying there. I was standing here. And
Why
I
did
went
she
like
stand
that,
up?
and I pulled the trigger.
But you made sure that the barrel was pointed at his head.
Yes.
Is it possible that we might find someone else out there or remains from another person on your property somewhere? Is that possible?
Anything is possible. Like, I don't know how you found that leg where it was.
Okay.
What if that leg's not Robert's?
Wow.
If it's not, I don't know who it.
Oh, this is so wrong.
You're not very, and I don't know if Detective Fox is getting the same thing from you, but you're not when you. It seems like before where you kind of wanted to say something, but you didn't. You held out, and then and it's like you want to say it, and this is like Detective Fox said. This is your opportunity to do that.
Susan, who else is out there?
Instead of asking again if anyone else is out there, which is a close-ended question that could be answered with a simple yes or no, the detective switches tactics.
Who is out there?
Directly, who else is out there? This is known as a presumptive question because the asker is assuming that something is true. In this case, that there is another body. This question may catch Susan off guard. If she was being honest when she initially denied that any other bodies are there, she likely wouldn't have to think about her response. It would be something easy, like no one else is out there.
Yeah.
However, if she knows that there is another body, she may pause to think about her response.
To my knowledge, no one.
To my knowledge, no one.
If that leg is not Robert's, I would very much like to know it myself.
Her reply is especially suspicious, as most people would be able to definitely answer whether or not a dead body was on their property, even if it is a large area. Using this qualifying statement
to my knowledge
is a major red flag.
Of course.
It's a red flag, bro.
I'd like to know it myself if it's not his. And how it got from the pig pen to wherever over there in the grass you found it, I have no idea.
Right. And sometimes bad things happen to good people. Misfortune. I mean, who would have thought that Robert would have ended up in the pigs, right?
Yes.
So did something else bad happen to you?
The only thing, and I will admit I have thought about it quite a bit, maybe too much, is that Karen.
Karen.
I mean, I have thought about killing her 100 times.
Okay, well, we're not talking
That's
about
the neighbor,
Karen.
right?
Yes.
I understand that. We're not talking about Karen.
Okay.
What's the scary answer?
That's the only.
And you're pretty sensitive about your hair falling out over
Yes.
that incident, aren't you?
Yes, I lost my hair within 2 months.
I mean, that's devastating,
Yes.
especially for you, isn't it?
Yes.
Wait, why did she lose her hair?
It's very hard for me to sit here right now.
Yes.
You know,
Talk about it, isn't
yes. I mean, just wearing this, like I say, I never leave my property, and I would not have today without putting my wig on.
And your story about shooting Robert, I know that's true, that you shot him when he was in the pig pen.
Yes.
That's some dirty ass room, though.
And I know that's true.
Look at all the dust. Figure.
Yes.
And I know that's true. But where else did you shoot him? People don't always die from the first shot on a .22. Where else was he shot at?
I have no idea.
Was he standing up on the first shot?
No. No, he was laying down on the ground.
Well, we have the skull, right?
Yes.
We're going to take a look at that skull.
Yes.
And you know how forensics are. I'm
Yes.
sure you watch that kind of stuff and you understand.
One of the things I got on the...
And we can take a look at
the what do you call it?
Right. And we can take a look at those angles. You know how you put the rods and the lasers,
Yes.
and you can figure
Yes.
that all out. And we can tell if they all those shots came from the same area.
Yes.
And we can also tell if it happened somewhere else.
Yes.
If we're shooting at the head.
Yes.
Is there some other way that something we're going to see that doesn't make sense to your story?
Like I said, I might have shot him 6 times. I really
Right.
don't know.
But are we going to have an angle that doesn't match your story?
I have no idea. He was on the ground.
Right, I know that
like
part's
that,
true.
and
I know that's true. I can sense that. I can
Okay.
tell that. But I can also sense that there's something missing. There's some part that something happened between you two before that happened.
No.
Something happened.
No.
Do you feel responsible? Did you ask him to go out and feed the pigs?
No.
And so now you're feeling guilty
No.
about that?
No. I do not.
Did you request him to clean up something in the
No.
pig stand,
No.
and now you feel guilty?
No, I feel guilty in the fact that he was lying there and I shot him.
Mm-hmm.
I feel guilty for, the fact that my pigs ended up eating most of him.
Wow.
I do not feel guilty for I do not feel guilty for causing his death.
Hmm?
Right.
Okay.
Although your gunshots are what ended it completely.
Yes. He was. We were not standing here together.
Right.
And I did not shoot him in the head.
Did you ever point your rifle at anybody?
No.
Before? A person?
No. While I was in the Navy, if I saw something suspicious, I would throw a hand grenade at it. Or sense and even thought about shooting anyone.
So you value human life, right? It sounds like you do. It sounds like you have an understanding.
No, I don't.
Okay.
No,
Well,
I should not be saying it, but I'm trying to tell the truth. I do not value human life very much. The only thing wrong with this planet is there's people on it. If it weren't for us, all the other animals, dodo birds and whatever else would still be here.
Okay. Well, how did you feel about Robert?
What
kind of person was he?
Well, I try to repeat here. I don't know him.
What about, what did you see with Robert and his dealing?
They did not like each other.
Okay, you saw them having words?
Yes.
And what was that about? What?
No, she wanted all her work done for free. And he wasn't agreeing to that.
Okay.
I used to go talk to him every day. He was my buddy.
Wow.
Just like Brady appears to feel loyal toward Susan, Michael appears to feel loyal toward Robert. This could explain why Brady and Michael give such different accounts, not only about Susan, but about how Susan felt about Robert. This doesn't necessarily mean that they're lying to detectives. However, it may be easier for them to remember things that fit with what they believe is true. This is known in psychology as confirmation bias. When something happens that fits with what we already believe, we're more likely to see it as important and therefore remember it. If something happens that doesn't align with our beliefs, we may discount it.
I'm trying to wrap my mind around it, you know what I mean? Of because if I went into a pen and a pig started attacking me, I guarantee you I could get out.
Well, I just say, my pigs are not mean. I have no idea why he would be there, and furthermore, I have no idea why they would go after him.
Nah, what?
Or anybody,
You mind if I just grab you some more water? You want some water?
I'm not
Or a soda?
water.
You want a soda?
I'll
I'll get you a soda.
Yeah, we need a table.
Can you do it in here or somewhere?
Yeah,
Okay.
he's in there right here.
I'm Chris.
Hello, Chris. Can all three of you go outside for just 5 seconds?
Okay.
Yes. There's a plug right
Okay.
behind here too.
Just 5 seconds.
Sure.
Can I have this pen, please?
Yeah, I'll take the drawer.
I'm gonna kill myself with it.
No.
Okay. Just 5 seconds, please.
Okay.
Susan is extremely self-conscious about her bald head, which is why she asked for everyone to leave the room while she took off her sweatshirt and adjusted her hat.
I'll talk to you about the polygraph stuff.
Okay. I'm just very subconscious about my hair, so I didn't want to take this off while you were looking.
The polygraph examiner begins setting up. Though Susan willingly agreed to take the polygraph, as you'll soon see, it did not go as planned.
Yeah, so how you doing?
I've been better.
Right away, the polygraph examiner starts building rapport with Susan.
Yeah.
He asks her about her experience with polygraphs.
Have you ever had a polygraph before?
I did one time.
What was that about?
I can't remember. But I do think I think I did
Wow.
have one.
Now you can't remember nothing,
Why
right?
don't you remember? I think you'd remember unless it was maybe a long time ago.
It was 30 or 40 years ago. I don't.
Oh, jeez.
It's extremely hard to believe that Susan doesn't recall the circumstances when she had previously been polygraphed. The experience is extremely stressful and would certainly be memorable, even if it was years ago.
Yep.
I do not remember a lot of stuff. I'm very good at spatial geometry and remembering numbers.
Okay. I have a friend like that.
I do not remember people at all, or I have a bad concept of time.
Okay.
Me too.
Susan mentions her memory problems almost immediately. This is rather convenient, as remembering timelines is critical in an investigation. This is likely a tactic so she can claim to not recall incriminating information during the polygraph or interrogation and blame it on her poor memory. The investigator will likely ask her to recall non-incriminating information from her past to disprove her claim of having a bad memory.
Yeah.
So when they're asking me questions about what happened 3 weeks ago, I'm trying to, figuring a month on either direction.
Susan tells him that she has worked on her property for 22 years. Before the polygraph examiner explains the process of the polygraph test and tells her he has to set up his equipment.
I got all this equipment I need to set up.
Pulse, blood pressure, and skin electroconductivity.
Good job. How do you remember all that stuff?
Like I say, I remember all kinds of things. I do not remember a lot of stuff.
Do you watch it on TV or things like that?
I
Wow.
watch.
That makes no sense, but okay.
TV a lot.
Okay,
I like
Brody.
The British things more than anything else.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Really? Wow. That's a first.
There's one called Rosemary and Thyme. They go out and solve crimes where, it's one of those, stupid things. You go out to trim a tree and find a body.
Okay.
For the most part, it's things that are not plausible. Oh, I can move a little bit.
Yeah, just move over just a little bit, wherever you're comfortable. I'm almost through with this.
I'm comfortable back in my property.
Gotcha. Yeah, me too. I'm most comfortable at home.
Susan brushes her hand across her forehead, possibly wiping sweat from her brow. Increased sweating can be indicative of someone being in fight or flight mode due to a perceived threat.
Wow.
Well, how about me? Are you comfortable with me?
No, I'm not.
You're not comfortable with me?
No, I am comfortable.
Oh, okay.
I'm fine with one or two people.
I get so cool.
Okay.
But when
I get those especially confused.
people, I start to get anxious.
The way she describes her anxiety attacks sounds like Susan suffers from panic disorder, possibly panic disorder with agoraphobia. Agoraphobia is an anxiety disorder associated with a fear of places or situations that could make someone panic, feel trapped, or embarrassed.
Nah, she's the killer, my friend. My friend. She ain't about to rat. She's about to rat on herself. Nah, you wanna see? Let me see the rat. The rat is called Michael, okay?
Psychiatrists and psychologists down there, they were
Yeah.
all kinds of pills and trying to give them to me.
You had mentioned her temper.
Not this one. This. He ain't a rat. He. Wait. He's a semi-rat. He's a semi-rat. You know?
Spot, but tell me about that.
He's loyal, but not loyal. He's one of those friends.
She's got a temper.
Look.
What does that look like?
She screams. It's just outbursts, but she was screaming real loud and really bipolar.
Is bipolar something that you came up with, or she told you?
No, she has.
She take medication for it, or?
I think so. I haven't even asked her. She forget with it, but
so she screams at people.
Oh yeah, she.
This is a guy, bro.
Do you have a mental health diagnosis, Susan?
I have you know, problems with people.
Okay.
That's basically the whole thing.
They didn't put a name on it. They call it some.
If they did, I can't remember what it was.
Susan states that she has what she calls problems with people. This could be a number of personality disorders, and it seems hard to believe she doesn't recall what she was diagnosed with. Most people know what kind of mental illness they have.
Just a little bit about me. I mean, I used to be a detective too.
I can't read anything.
Okay.
I don't have glasses.
I'll read it to you. Would you be able to sign it if I read it to you?
Yes.
Okay.
The interrogator reads Susan her rights and has her verbally agree to take the polygraph. He cannot force her to take a polygraph, but whether or not someone willingly agrees to take a polygraph is important to an investigation. It's actually surprising Susan is willing.
Having these rights in mind, you wish to take a polygraph exam?
Not real happy about it, but I will do it.
Wow.
I got yes or no. Which one should I check?
Yes.
Okay.
Susan also claimed earlier she's into crime shows,
Yeah.
and she may think she knows ways to beat the test.
Well,
There is a way, but
just acknowledge that I read those to you.
I think there's a way. I'm gonna ask. I can ask for him. I can't say that though. Not on live. I can't talk to you. I can't tell you who I'm gonna ask, but I'm gonna ask someone.
Sign your name right in.
Just to see, man. Just to see. It would be fun. Yo! I'm gonna see if I can get one of these people.
Or not. You don't have to. It's just I just want to make sure that.
I think I can. A real one too. Not one of those YouTube ones.
After Susan states she's shaking, you can hear her verbally sigh a few times to release tension. These behaviors suggest that she's feeling uncomfortable, possibly as a result of her self-reported history of anxiety. Most people are nervous taking a polygraph exam, so this is expected.
Yeah.
Am I making you nervous?
No. I think of everything very logically.
If you didn't do anything, I don't think you should be nervous. Not to lie.
Officer just a couple minutes ago that
She should be nervous as well.
sickle cell.
This is out of a movie, gang. Look, when the killer is straight out of a horror movie.
That could be dealt with very simply by having people that have that gene to not have kids. And in one generation, we would not have that disease anymore.
Okay.
China allows
Ooh.
people to have one child.
What?
Which is very good. In India, you got 1 billion people in this little spot. It's stupid.
When Susan describes how she thinks of everything very logically, she's very unemotional and comes across as somewhat egocentric.
Yeah.
She appears to believe that she's smarter than everyone else, as she has logical answers about how to solve world problems. This also shows that Susan has some very rigid beliefs.
Susan for president.
Condone
Imagine.
killing of people just for no reason. But if somebody does get killed, I'm not very concerned about it because there's 7 billion people on this planet.
So you're pragmatic about life in general.
Yes.
Comes and goes.
Yes.
Her comments about not being concerned when someone dies reveals that she may have difficulty forming emotional attachments to other people. It also suggests that she may lack empathy, as she's unable to see that although one person's death may not affect her personally, there are likely other people who are impacted and hurt by the loss of that person. It could also be an indication that she's willing to solve an issue by using methods that make sense to her and are convenient to her, regardless of what those methods are.
That's pretty. That's probably pretty normal for someone that works a farm. Animals come and go.
I don't.
Susan then changes topics abruptly, shifting from her beliefs about people dying to discussing Robert's death.
Wow.
The reason this happened was I do not feel that any person or animal should suffer.
Okay.
Susan is steepling her hands, which is an indication that she feels confident in what she's saying. She's also using her hands as illustrators, bringing her hands down slightly multiple times in order to punctuate her point. When illustrators are out of sync or misplaced, this can signal that someone may be lying. However, Susan's movements appear to match up with her words.
I didn't think that he was going to live more than another couple of minutes. but he was definitely suffering.
Ow.
And I ended the suffering.
Susan is using moral justification for killing Robert and is beginning to build a narrative as to why she did what she did. She alleges she was simply ending his suffering and was acting humanely. Her explanation of what she did to Robert also shows her rigidity of thinking. She thought it was okay to end his suffering, and so she went ahead and shot him. A jury might be less likely to convict someone of murder if this were truly a mercy killing, but she could still be charged with murder.
Do you have any concerns about taking any polygraph examination today?
No.
Have you had any injury or major surgery in the last 6 months?
No.
The interrogator goes back to reading the usual preliminary questions to make sure she's coherent and can take the polygraph without being under the influence or have any conditions that would interfere with the accuracy of the test. This is always done as the machine picks up physical and biological responses that can easily be affected by drugs, alcohol, or certain medical conditions. However, it's important to note that polygraph exams are notoriously unreliable.
So you know the past 24 hours or so? Okay.
I had a margarita that was very weak on the 3rd Thursday of last month.
Okay, wow.
Susan is able to recall certain information in a lot
Right?
of detail, despite previously
So she
stating
does
that her
remember.
memory isn't good.
Man, she's
Ever been
lying.
Diagnosed by a doctor or professional medical person with depression or anxiety?
Yes.
Okay. Which one? Both of them, or just anxiety you mentioned?
And anxiety. I don't think anybody ever said I was depressed. I get depressed occasionally, and most of the time, if I just go out and sit next to a tree and look at my little 20 acres, I'm happy in just a short period of time.
It's not 20 acres. It is 19.99 acres.
Mental health diagnosis.
That 1% is not yours, gang.
Or anything like that? But you just do better when you're alone.
I do better when I'm alone.
Sue's bipolar really bad, and she starts stuff and doesn't finish. Mm-hmm. And it's almost like when she starts something, she don't have no plans on finishing it.
I get these anxiety things like when I go to shop, I mentally put blinders on myself. I try not to look at people. I manage quite well.
Here she is describing the feelings and behaviors of people that struggle with agoraphobia, or a rather serious social anxiety disorder. Sometimes people with social anxiety disorder will describe these sort of feelings or behaviors when in public settings. Given her choice to live in a very isolated rural environment with animals, this is probably true.
Yeah.
She then describes an incident that occurred to her years ago where she was in a grocery store and began to have an anxiety attack. She left her cart in the store and went out to her car to wait until the anxiety went away. But while there, she was approached by 2 paramedics.
And said, "You all right?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm fine. Go away." And I tried to explain to him that, I was okay, just having an anxiety attack, and I'd be all right in a couple of minutes. I managed to get one of them to go away, and the second one took my blood pressure, and I managed to convince them to go away and leave me alone.
Just doing their job, huh?
Yeah, well, like I say, it made it worse. If they had just, if they had left me alone for a few more minutes, I would have been just fine.
Although earlier she reported that she had difficulty remembering things,
That's right.
had a bad concept of time. She recalled in detail an anxiety attack she had 10 years ago. She may have felt like she was being scrutinized or negatively judged by the paramedic, which is common in individuals with social phobia. With social phobias, some people suffering from anxiety have a specific fear of social or performance situations, as they're afraid they may act in a way that causes them to feel embarrassed or humiliated.
Susan, do you know what you're suspected of, or why you're down here, or why they're talking to you? Can you tell me in your own words
This is crazy.
what that is?
Man, you learn so much with these videos. Man, I'm going to give you a strap.
Susan repeats the same story and confirms there was never a physical altercation between her and Robert.
At no time in the several months that he had been there, that we ever had any kind of a physical or provocation, trying to pick words, that would have resulted in my deliberately killing him.
To the best of your knowledge, Susan, has anybody else ever died on your property? Human, I mean?
No.
Okay.
There are more changes in her manner of speaking here. She not only slowed down and became more deliberate in her words, but she also shifted to more limited answers, where previously she's been quite talkative to the point of adding in unnecessary and unrelated information at times.
No, bro.
In fact, she often overshares, such as offering up information about her mental health before the detective even asked her about it.
Wow.
Would you tell me if there had been?
No.
I guess no.
Susan may have schizotypal personality disorder, which is characterized by consistent, intense discomfort with relationships and social interactions, usually accompanied by unusual thoughts, speech, and behaviors. It typically leads to severe and persistent anxiety and a tendency to avoid social situations. People with schizotypal personality disorder tend to hold peculiar beliefs and don't respond appropriately to social norms and cues. This would also explain Susan's flat emotions or limited or inappropriate emotional responses,
and the
incorrect
jokes,
interpretation of events, and her dressing in peculiar ways or being unkempt. However, Susan doesn't appear to have any ideas of reference, which is when someone interprets random events as having a special meaning for them, or magical thinking, like believing she has special powers, which are some common symptoms of schizotypal personality disorder. Although she technically only needs to meet 5 criteria for this diagnosis, the ideas of reference and magical thinking are pretty distinguishing symptoms for this diagnosis. To our knowledge, Susan has never been diagnosed with this disorder.
Appreciate your honesty.
Trying. I tried to avoid this whole thing to start with.
Yeah.
And apparently they found a leg somewhere.
Apparently, no, they did.
I was not really concerned about him. I put him out of his misery. I do that. I do that for my animals, and this was the first time I did it for a human being. Then I went ahead and was thinking about my pigs, worrying that if I told anybody, that they were going to come out and shoot all my pigs for doing what pigs do.
Eat people.
Susan's utter lack of concern for Robert and the fact that she only cared about her pigs being taken away cuts against her story that she didn't kill him by her own desires. An innocent person would have been traumatized shooting someone they've known, even if they didn't have an extremely close relationship. Susan expresses no signs of remorse or guilt. She appears to have very rigid beliefs about her animals being more important than any human's life.
This is the biggest thing that makes no sense to me, is why he would be in their pig pen.
Because you put them there. You put him there. You put him there. Stop lying. You put him there. I'm a snitch on you. You put him there.
It doesn't make any sense why he was out there.
Repeating "it doesn't make any sense" makes her sound honest, but Susan is smart. She may be trying to make herself sound believable.
If he had attacked me for some reason, and I had killed him, I would have called you immediately. I'd say, hey, look, this guy, pulled a knife on me or whatever, and busted in my room, and I shot him. I will repeat this at no time, during the time that I knew him, did we get into any kind of a fight.
Saying they never had any altercations removes any possible self-defense claim she may have wanted to allege.
Yeah.
It sounds like tensions are pretty high just when you leave, right? You've had it whether you leave. So when you leave, it's Susan and Robert are the only ones left on the property?
Yeah, and she killed him.
Okay.
And she killed him.
I'm not a cop, I'm not a detective, but it doesn't take a
just
moron can figure this out.
Okay, we're just trying to put pieces together. And
I like Michael, man. Michael's my guy, man. Michael had nothing to do with this.
The detectives think that you might have killed him before the pigs.
Even though he's a snitch. He's a rat.
Does that make sense to you that they might think that happened?
Well, it makes it.
He's still my guy.
It makes sense that they think it might have happened.
Okay.
But to kill somebody for making a mess,
Well, it's happened before. I mean, I've known of other cases where things happen, and accidents happen too.
The interrogator
5
is offering an
hours is
alternative theory,
crazy.
which is a Reed technique where he will present a less morally despicable justification for her actions. He suggests that perhaps she killed him by accident, as she made it clear that she didn't do it in self-defense. He's hoping she'll latch onto the idea of an accident, as it's a less morally objectionable explanation than intentional murder.
Yeah,
I mean, you know,
this was not an accident. Before all this had happened, he was more logical, like I am, which,
Yeah.
to my knowledge,
Not knowledge.
to my anyway, to my feeling,
can't find the words.
Did not cause him to be suicidal or anything like that. I did not feel that he was depressed, as other people have said. My one neighbor said that she had talked to him and that he was very depressed, and I did not get that feeling from him.
If this was her way of trying to shed doubt on Robert's mental state, it was a very discreet way of doing so. By sharing that other people claimed Robert was depressed, Susan implies the possibility of him taking his own life. However, no one would take their own life in this way.
So, Susan, if someone actually caused his death before he was in distress, like for whatever reason, and didn't call the police about it, what do you think should happen to someone like that?
This is a common question police ask suspects, as their answer can be very informative to their state of mind and consciousness of guilt. A guilty person will usually give an answer that includes a less harsh punishment, or doesn't give a straightforward answer. An innocent person will generally want the most severe punishment for the killing of someone they cared about or knew, with little hesitation.
Wow.
Well, I mean, you say that you shot him because you thought he was a goner anyway.
Yes.
If he was even still alive.
Yes.
So let's say that's not the case. Let's say
Yeah.
it was something else. And let's say someone killed Robert
Yeah.
For any other reason and
No,
threw him
okay.
in the pen.
Mm.
What do you think should happen to that person?
Go to jail.
A non-guilty party suggests a much harsher sentence for such a disturbing and heinous crime.
But not
She
her.
then displays traits of antisocial personality disorder and callousness toward Robert's death.
I don't like people. I think, if we got rid of 1 billion or 2, the world would be a lot better for a short time until we repopulate it again and make, I think that the human race is
We're at 8 million.
a big mess at this point.
Bro, we're at 8 million. That's so crazy. That is so crazy to me. We're at 8 million people right now, bro. I don't even see the world. We do, huh? Figurative, bro. Huh? I swear we hit 8 million, no? We did hit. We hit 8 million. Right here. Yeah, 8 million. The other day we hit it. Not the other day, July. Figured it.
Planet. But no, if you simply kill people for no reason, you should go to jail.
Her statement of killing people for no reason shows that she likely believes there are valid reasons to kill people, and perhaps she thinks her reason for killing Robert was valid. She then gave another little hint into her psyche by revealing her rather negative worldview of humanity and her indifference about human life.
For how long do you think they should go to jail?
2 weeks.
Are you just kidding?
Yeah.
Her joke is very telling of her disregard for both human life as well as the seriousness of this situation. She avoids giving an actual answer.
Oh, cool.
That's not up to me.
Well, I'm asking you because I'm curious as to how you feel about that. Does it matter to you whether it was an accidental killing or an on-purpose killing? Would that make a difference to you?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
But the other officer, I mean, I've been joking about this for a long time, much longer than before I actually shot somebody, that I was going to feed people to my pigs.
Admitting that she joked about feeding people to her pigs will be key evidence to show both planning, premeditation, and that she was involved in Robert being put in the pig's feeding den.
First. How many we went back? First. That's first.
Facing it is a large pig pen.
You heard? That's first. First degree.
I have heard. I have not read any
That's first.
evidence or anything to the.
That is first, baby.
If you feed meat to a pig, it doesn't do them good.
That is first, baby. Whoa.
Most of the time, I'll give them the guts.
Susan, have you ever fed your pigs any other animals before?
No. If it's an accident,
Now she does.
which to the best of my knowledge, this was not an accident by me.
It's a bit strange to say, to the best
This
of
is
my
my
knowledge
knowledge.
here. It's almost like she's leaving room for the possibility that she may have been in a dissociative state or not recall that she killed Robert.
Yeah.
To the best of your knowledge, you said. Is it possible that something else happened?
No, I guess I phrased that wrong.
Okay, well, I do listen to words.
Yes.
Susan,
Okay.
and
Yeah. Well,
and I think you do too.
Yes, I try to. I'm bad with words, and
I don't think so.
I get. It takes me a long time for words to get from the back to the front.
What?
Had it been an accident.
What do you mean by that, bro?
Now,
I want you to play the role of a dishonest person for a second. If you had actually done something different to Robert that caused his death, what would keep you from telling me that right now?
don't want to go to jail.
Okay. Fair enough.
I have Robert staying in this room, and then 10 feet away from him, I've got body parts. Why did I not get rid of it a long time ago?
I don't know.
I'm not in the psychological situation where I would become a mass murderer and just go into a school and start killing people, or go into
Whoa.
blow myself up or something.
What are we talking about, bro?
My general feelings when I get these anxiety attacks.
Take it easy, my friend.
More homicidal than suicidal.
This will be a useful statement to show that she has the ability to do what she did.
Yeah.
It almost appears that the time she spent in this interview is wearing her down to the point that she's becoming a bit sloppy and not watching what she says. It's possible that Susan is referring to having intrusive
I mean,
thoughts
it's been
about
2
harming
hours.
others. Intrusive thoughts, which are unwanted thoughts or urges that pop
We
into
got 1 more
one's
hour until I'm out of here,
cause
man. I'm
great
out of here.
distress
2 hours. 1 more
can be
hour.
common with anxiety disorders. Intrusive thoughts are often about some loss of self-control, such as harm to yourself or others.
I've never acted on anything like that.
Has she ever got physical with you at all?
No.
She screamed at you?
No.
You've known her for a long time, right? I mean, almost 8-9 years. What does she do when she gets upset and mad? I mean, you have to have seen her mad. I mean,
She screams.
She just screams.
Well, I've seen a lot of yelling and no action like that. No, not really. She's not a whoop up, type. But she's not a fighter.
Whoopie-doo.
Very. She said she never been a fighter. She could. She would. I bet she could.
Come on in.
What?
You got my soda? See, they are listening. Thank you.
Someone's listening.
Thank you. If I had been forced to stay in the store
Mm-hmm.
and there was a machine gun around,
Yeah.
I would say, get away from me before I start shooting.
What? That's not a panic attack.
Have these anxiety attacks.
I don't think that's a sanity attack, bro. That's insane attacks. Anxiety. What's just that's
Be left alone. If I'm
it's not anxiety, bro. That's something else again.
This suggests that the homicidal thoughts she has during anxiety attacks may not be intrusive thoughts, but something else entirely. People with intrusive thoughts do not want to act on these urges. That is what is so distressing about having unwanted thoughts pop into one's head. Susan, on the other hand, has said several times that when she's having an anxiety attack, she needs to be left alone. This appears to be a strongly held belief, and she was irritated when she mentioned a paramedic trying to help her during an anxiety attack.
I mean, we all have.
Speculative, but it's possible
But
that
that's
the
not
homicidal
slowable.
thoughts are occurring because Susan cannot accept
That's
when
not
someone
slowable.
goes against her very rigid beliefs. If someone stopped her from leaving the store, this would prevent her from being alone, which may cause her to feel very angry. By admitting that she's capable of killing if she isn't left alone when she feels anxiety, Susan may be revealing her motive for killing Robert. It's possible that Robert may not have left her alone during an anxiety attack, which then triggered her to kill him.
Let me shift gears again, and let's talk a little bit about the polygraph stuff, okay? I'm going to get together a list of questions for you.
Yes.
We're going to agree on the answers. You're going to answer either yes or no to my questions.
Yes.
Very
Okay.
simple. If there's any ambiguity, you don't understand what I'm asking, and it's not yes or no, but it's maybe, that's not a good question.
Right.
Okay. Because, Susan, you can lie to me or you can lie to the detectives, but you can't lie to yourself. And
Right.
so if you're answering the question and you know it's a lie, you're going to know it, and your physiology or your
Yes.
body is going to react accordingly
Yes.
because we
Yeah.
have hardwired into us this fight or flight, this animal instinct to
Yes.
protect ourselves. Okay?
Yeah.
So I have a little bit of work to do to get some questions ready, okay? We're almost ready to do the test, actually. As soon as I get my questions ready and we go over them with each other. Do you need a break or anything like this? You need to use a restroom or anything?
No. Okay.
Okay. So if you'll just, I don't mean to be rude, but I need to kind of stay over here and concentrate for a little bit.
Instead of remaining silent as the polygraph examiner requested, Susan once again discusses her disapproving views of the human race, this time saying that the reason there are so few bald eagles is because of pesticides killing them.
So that's another reason why I'm not in favor of the human race, even though I am among the human race.
Susan again indicates her preference for animals over people, which she seems to happily admit without it even being asked.
And she's
She
eating.
fails to realize that these comments are making her look like the kind of person who would kill someone and then allow her pigs to benefit by eating them.
Yeah.
I can type, but I can't. I can type, but you can't read what I've typed
Why is that?
because my spelling is atrocious.
Oh, just spell it. Okay.
Figgity, man.
The English language is hard to learn, and I agree with them. City should start with a C.
Huh?
Or possibly an S, but it should not start. Cat should definitely start with a K.
That makes sense.
To the best of my knowledge.
Yo, bro, what's up with this? To the best of my knowledge.
Said we should only have 23 letters instead of 26.
I heard that before, too.
He also wanted the turkey to be the national bird, or what do you call it? It's cold now, but thank you for the sandwich.
But is there anything else you think I should know before we get started that you just haven't told me? Just because we haven't asked the question right or something?
The interrogator is trying to get Susan to confess to possibly more crimes by telling her that her hiding information may cause her to fail the polygraph. He leaves her alone and asks her to think about that while he's gone.
They're watching. Oh, I thought she was gonna go for a computer, not the lie.
Oh. Whatever.
Susan wipes feces off the chair with her hand and then uses her hands to wipe her face with the tissue.
Yeah. What's that? Wait, what?
Just stand up for
Feces.
a second. I'll move that chair just
Jesus.
a little bit. I want your arm up here like this, okay?
The interrogator discovers Susan had gone to the bathroom in her pants.
Wow.
Okay. What's that right there? Is that something on the chair? Or?
No, that's something on me, which I hadn't done in 60 plus years.
Okay.
And that was totally think the cameras in that thing, they're totally your fault.
She blames another officer, claiming she had to use the restroom hours ago. However, she never is heard asking to use the bathroom and wouldn't have been denied permission. This is extremely odd behavior and suggests she may be more mentally ill than she comes across.
No, it doesn't matter. I'll watch the cover later. Okay, there's a few questions on this test that have to do with, you're going to answer truthfully and I'm going to know it. Like, is your first name Susan?
No.
Answer truthfully now.
Yes.
Okay. Are you currently sitting down?
No.
You don't mess with my test. We wasted a couple hours.
Okay, yes.
Okay.
Susan is intentionally answering the baseline questions incorrectly. She seems to have no real desire to take this test seriously.
And I don't know how long it would take you to find out, but Susan Monica is not my name of birth.
Oh.
I will say that, but I mean,
Oh, okay. Well, that's no problem.
I will say that it has been that for the last 40 years.
Oh, that's an easy one. Let me, that's important. Let me change that. Well, what is your real name?
I'm not saying.
Oh, okay.
The interrogator sets up the polygraph examination and has to reset the machine multiple times because Susan complains that it isn't comfortable. Finally, he begins to conduct the test.
Okay, Susan, this test is about to begin. Please sit still.
All right, let's go. Let's get ready, boys. You ready?
Just
Let's
answer
see.
my questions, yes or no.
All right.
Do you intend to answer all questions about Robert's death with the truth?
Yes.
Not including this investigation? Have you ever lied to police or any other authority?
No. This is hard.
Okay, you can't talk.
It's hard to sit still.
Did you injure Robert before the pigs began to eat him?
No.
Do you know of any place on your property where there are body parts from any other person?
No.
During the test, Susan is fidgeting and moving her body frequently. She didn't seem to have as much of a problem with sitting still during the interrogation and may be trying to move around to make the test results useless or inaccurate, as he specifically asked her to sit still during the exam. However, extra intakes of breath can often be an involuntary response to the fight or flight response occurring, as the body needs additional oxygen.
Do you ever get violent towards other people?
When you're stressed, right? Yeah.
No.
That makes sense.
Not including Robert? Have your pigs eaten on any other person that you know of?
No.
Are you withholding any information concerning how Robert was actually first injured?
No. Sorry.
This portion of the test is complete. Please sit still until I tell you to. Okay, go ahead and relax, Susan.
I didn't think I'd be this nervous when I was.
Well, there's 3 separate times there where you've taken huge breaths, moved, and just.
Yes, I know.
Are you going to be able to cooperate? Or?
I thought I was. At this point, I'm not sure.
Okay. Is there something going through your mind during the test that's causing you to not be able to be calm?
Just the situation itself.
Okay. All these questions we've gone over before. They shouldn't be.
I realize that, but trying to sit here and be still and just saying yes and no is more trouble than I thought it would be.
The polygraph has to be redone because Susan was unable
Oh my
to sit
God.
still and was breathing heavily during it.
Do you intend to answer all questions about Robert's death with the truth?
Yes.
During the second round of the test, Susan begins heavily coughing at the end. This is a way to sabotage the polygraph test.
Yeah. Stay still, bro. Like. That was a fake cough.
During the second attempt, it seems even more obvious she's trying to sabotage the test and is more uncooperative than the first time. However, it's important to note that though the coughing and heavy breathing may be an attempt to mess up the test, it could also be because Susan is experiencing anxiety and may not be a deliberate attempt to skew the results. We know that
Okay.
when people are trying to be deceptive or are under stress, they do odd extra breathing and sniffing behaviors to bring in more oxygen. And this may be what is happening with Susan. Ultimately, it's unclear if Susan's behavior during the polygraph was intentional or not. She's informed that the test is not usable for the most part, but the interrogator has been able to obtain some data. He's understandably unwilling to retest her.
So what happened? You weren't coughing the whole time we were talking.
And now you are.
Oh, well, I was trying to relax, and it wasn't working.
Okay. So you weren't having these troubles because you didn't want to take the test, right?
No. No, I was trying to cooperate.
Here's what I do have, okay? There's a little bit of data that I was looking at on there. Not a lot. Not enough for me to make an opinion. But enough to make me concerned about a couple of things, okay?
Yeah.
Most of the time people have those kinds of reactions during the test, almost exactly like you, is because they're withholding information at some point. Okay. For whatever reason, they're scared of the consequences. They don't know where to begin. They feel like they've done something wrong, or they've been lying to the police all along, and they don't know how to get past that. Well, I just want to tell you that I feel for your situation, but I also don't believe you've told everything to the detectives today. I think you know some more. That's my opinion.
Here, the detective is using the positive confrontation step of the Reed technique. This involves directly confronting the suspect with a statement that it is known they are involved in the crime.
I think you even said at times that your anxiety, when it comes apart, it's just something that people can't control. And
Yes.
You're not on medication for it.
Right.
I understand.
Like I said, that is part of the reason I can't sit still, I guess, too.
But you
Because
said
I have been here for that.
you said you
that
were
long.
homicidal and not suicidal during that.
What?
The interrogator uses Susan's own words to confront her about his doubts and suspicions
Oh,
about
nah.
her character and involvement.
Susan,
I didn't hear that.
Thinking that if you left his body out in that pen long enough, that almost everything would be destroyed, and then you would have less to take care of. Like the pigs would be a cleanup crew. They do what they do, like you said.
I could have left them. I could have left him there for longer, and that would be true.
Oh, shit.
I couldn't do it.
Susan may have slipped up here big
Yeah.
time. She says, I
Big
could have left
time.
them. Though she's talking about Robert, she uses
Big
a
time
plural
Yanu.
descriptor, possibly indicating that there's more than one victim who's been fed to her pigs. She fixes the mistake by switching back to him, because it's only supposed to be Robert she's talking about.
2 days, you said, though. 2
Yes.
days later, you went out there.
Yes. Well, I mean, I saw him out there, and it made me sick. I didn't actually throw up, but it made me feel sick. Even though he was no longer a person,
Yeah.
he was just some body parts. Even though there were some body parts out there, I could no longer have my animals eating him.
But for 2 days, you left him out there so
Yes.
they could do that.
Yes, I did, and it was somewhat difficult.
Susan, I can appreciate the situation that you're in. It's not good. I mean, even after
I realize my situation is not good.
even after the death,
Yes,
to allow animals to feed on a corpse is a crime.
yes,
Okay, so I mean, they're probably going to deal with that.
Yes.
later on. But right now, you and me are in here, and I'm trying to find the truth of what really happened.
yes.
He presents her with a last opportunity to confess. This is said to apply a feeling of pressure and urgency to her confessing, and to make it seem like it's in the best interest to do so.
I'm telling you what I think is that you're not being truthful, and you're withholding information from this investigation. I truly believe that. Whether it's about, I don't know. If they find other body parts from other people, then you know the situation you'd be in, and because of your actions
Damn.
afterwards, and because of the things you said before. It's joking about feeding people to your pigs and whatever?
Well, like I said, that's always been my weird sense of humor.
Okay, I can get a weird sense of humor,
Yeah.
but when then it turns around and it actually happens, that's not too good for you.
No, I definitely know that. I do not know.
You probably shot him while he's in the pit. More than just the time you're talking about. For whatever reason.
I do not know.
I do not know.
And the more you talk, the less I believe that
Wow.
you're ever going to be truthful with me about it. So I think you should talk to somebody else, okay?
He's trying to keep her confidence level low and make her understand that her story isn't believable before going into an interrogation with another detective. This will put her in a better position mentally for them to try to get a confession.
I think you know more than you're telling him about Robert's death, and that's all I'm asking you about.
Yeah.
And you're missing your best chance to tell them now before they either prove it otherwise, or later on you figure out, now I better tell them the truth because I'm facing something serious, and I think you missed your chance. But I gotta go take a break.
Wow.
I can guarantee you she's guilty. Just that, you can't convict somebody.
The best
over
snitch ever.
a feeling.
Right.
I'll send someone else in here to talk.
Okay. Yeah.
But you need to tell them the truth. You're leaving stuff out, and you and I know it. You and I know it. It's not subconscious, Susan. You're leaving it out.
I might be, but I really can't.
No, you are. Tell them the whole story. Tell them.
I don't know what else it would be. I just,
Yes, you do.
I found him out in the pen, dying.
Yeah.
Damn,
What
Susan.
happened before? That's what you're leaving out.
I didn't even see him the day until that day.
Susan sighs heavily multiple times while alone in the interrogation room, indicating that she's feeling very stressed. Her arms are wrapped around her torso in
I know
a
that.
protective position,
Yeah.
which may be comforting for her.
Yeah.
It appears that Susan is berating herself, possibly for not being able to complete the polygraph test. It's possible that she thought if she completed the polygraph, the detective would have believed her story. Of course, it's also possible that she's just putting on an act for the camera as a ploy for sympathy. It seems that she's still sitting in her soiled pants, as she was not offered any opportunity to change clothes after the last detective discovered she had an accident. She should have been given a chance to clean up. One of the original interrogators returns to continue questioning Susan in the hopes that she will finally tell them something they can use. He immediately jumps back into asking her about the pigs.
But you know that pigs will eat anything if you give them the opportunity.
8 hours. Oh my God.
Right.
And
so how did
8
Robert
hours
give
with
them
this.
an opportunity for him
Right?
to be in there?
I do
Yeah.
not know. I do not know.
And in all the time that Robert had been there, did he ever feed the pigs?
To my knowledge, no.
Did he ever go out and in the pen that you
To
know?
my knowledge, no.
So you can see how when we listen to what you're
I
saying,
know
that
that I
you
know
came out.
I know
Hang on
it.
just a
I
second,
know
okay?
it doesn't
Because
make sense.
I
It
know
doesn't
that.
make sense to me.
And so when you come out and you see your pigs eating Robert, and he's still alive,
Yes.
for us to hear that, it's not even possible. No one here is outside this office, people out there, no one would believe that. If you take anybody and you put them in a pig pen, even if they've been around pigs, they're going to know that if I start getting attacked by a pig or something, I'm going to try to get out of here.
Yes.
I'm not going to lay down on the ground and let pigs just eat my stomach
Right.
until I can't move and then have someone come shoot me in the head.
Yeah.
All this time, Brady was trying to be vague, relaying Susan's jokes to investigators, while at the same time defending her and contradicting his statements. The discovery is finally revealed to him for the first time.
So it's been brought to my attention, okay, that there's quite a few of us out there, okay. Some people already out there kind of doing their thing, okay. And for what I've been told is there's no doubt about it.
Damn.
They found a human body part out on the property. Okay.
Are you kidding me?
No, dead straight. Dead straight. Not gonna kid around. That's a pretty serious thing.
You're serious. Oh my
what's up with that?
I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. I don't even believe it.
It's true.
Oh yeah, well, it's, yeah,
What-
no, we don't bullshit.
How do you die? How do you die? Did you guys even know?
Well, we still
We
working
don't.
on
We
that.
just starting. Okay. And that's why I'm like, you know, you're straight up gonna come in here and figure out what's going on because you've been out on that
How
property.
could how could the body not get? Wow. Are you serious, you guys?
No, one thing you find out about us, we don't bullshit people, so we're not going to come in here and make something up. Not going to do it.
Wow.
Wow.
What do you think we might have found this at?
I don't know. Why?
I just don't know if you.
Yes, me. I don't have no idea.
I haven't been
I'm
on.
shocked that they found his body.
They found body parts. That's what I've been told.
Body parts.
Body parts.
Wow.
And you've been on the property for a while now.
Oh, God.
So that's why I'm asking
That's
you.
horrendous, you guys. That is horrendous.
You ever hear Susan talk about it?
No. No.
Wow.
No.
Wow, wow, wow,
Just
wow.
like
wow.
Susan's own use of repeating words, Brady saying no over and over
No,
might be
no,
evidence
no.
that he's trying to convince the investigators that he's speaking the truth.
Oh my God.
And I'm gonna be honest with you.
That is shocking.
Do you know something? I'm not saying that you did anything, but I'm wondering if you might know more than what you're letting on.
No.
Back in Susan's interrogation, the case is about to take an unexpected turn.
I don't know how to do this without.
You do it the way that you need to. I'm here to listen. And I'm just going to listen to what you have to say right now, okay?
The detective is trying to act supportive by telling Susan that he's
The
going
hand,
to
the hand,
listen
the
to
hand,
her.
the hand.
He reaches out
Yes.
his hand across the table towards Susan.
I'm smart.
A gesture of support and understanding, almost as if he's holding her hand through this. The detective is doing a good job keeping his voice calm and his cadence slow. His tone is very non-judgmental. All of this will make it easier for Susan to open up.
It doesn't make sense. Just like Robert, it doesn't make sense. I have told you everything truthfully about Robert. I don't know how his body got out there to start with. I don't.
Wow.
Finally, after hours of interrogation wearing her down, Susan is about to reveal another disturbing secret she has kept hidden all this time.
What?
Oh, God, give me another piece of paper.
Why that music, bro? You're scaring me, bro.
Part of another body.
Okay.
Oh my God.
His name is Steve.
But who was Steve?
But who is
The year
Steve?
before Robert went missing in 2012, 59-year-old Stephen Delacino, also a handyman, had worked on Susan's property. It's unclear exactly when he vanished. If you
Wow.
find Susan's explanation of Robert's death bizarre, get ready, because her story about Stephen is somehow even stranger.
Anybody come around asking about him?
No.
How did you meet him?
He was one of those people that just showed up to work. And,
Well, now you say showed up. Was it like from a,
Yeah.
help wanted?
yes. I think he was a couple years older than me.
What's the structure you're talking about here?
Oh, this is the barn, and then this is the area. This is the fence. He's on the other side of the fence.
Right on the other side of the
Right,
fence.
right on the other side of the fence, about there.
Okay.
She likely
Wow.
isn't drawing out where the body is to be helpful so they can locate it easier, but by drawing a map, she can have a distraction and something to look at besides the detective while discussing this. It's easier for someone to confess while looking away or while busy with something else than it is to confess eye to eye with nothing to distract them from what is being revealed. Additionally, her map makes the focus
Wow.
more on where it happened rather than what happened.
What's
Yeah.
the part of the body?
There was the skull and a couple other things I don't remember.
Okay.
Pieces of other bone.
Wow.
Steve was a thief. He stole a lot of things.
Wow, 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 wow. This is...
Susan alleges that Steve stole guns from her and that she confronted him about the theft because she wanted to know where they were so she could get them back.
He apparently knew where my little pistol still was because he reached over and grabbed it. We started to have a little tussle, nothing big to start with.
The following explanation is one of the most bizarre and shocking stories we've ever seen in an interrogation.
So you guys are wrestling.
So he grabbed a little pistol,
Mm-hmm.
and he said that, he doesn't want to go back to jail, and he decided he was going to kill himself. So he shot himself in the head.
Yeah.
Right there in your home?
Right there.
Where did he shoot himself in the head at?
Well, that was the whole stupid thing. He shot himself, and then he ran out. It wouldn't kill you, but
There's no way, Susan. There is no way how you gonna tell me a dude killed himself and ran out. There is no way, bro.
He certainly hurt.
Yeah.
And it's 5 shots for crying out loud. He went out of the room.
There's
That
no
was when
way.
it got even worse. Okay. And
There's
he
no
emptied
way.
the gun in his own head.
Whoa.
I could not believe it.
Wow,
believe it.
dude.
22 with a little 1-inch barrel, and it was just going boom, boom, and down.
Where did he shoot himself at?
I mean, in the head. He was bleeding.
Wow.
Susan verifies certain details about her story, saying that Stephen
And remember, guys, she does not remember
shot
anything.
himself in the
She has
top of
bad
the head
memory.
multiple times. During this altercation, she claims she was wrestling with him for the gun and holding onto his arm.
After a fashion, he managed to do it. And basically, I did the same thing, which, like I say, it doesn't make any damn sense at all why 2 people would end up in my pig pen.
Yeah. So what happened with him in the pig pen?
I did leave him out there for quite a while, until there was practically nothing left.
Like, how long was it left?
I left him there for a couple of weeks.
Whoa.
Susan tells the investigator that she gathered up all the animal bones on her property and dug a hole to bury them, along with some of Stephen's bones.
My good old neighbors,
Bro.
they saw me throwing bones in a hole, so they called you.
Yeah.
When her neighbors called the police, they arrived to investigate the hole she had dug.
I said they were buried about 2 feet down. I asked him if he wanted a shovel, and he didn't want a shovel, and he left.
Wow.
Notice that Susan is now mirroring how the detective is sitting. This is what he wanted her to do, and it's why he's been sitting like that for the majority of the interrogation.
I probably knew him more than anyone else.
Okay. Really? How long?
5 years.
Steve?
Yeah.
Wow.
He wanted to go ahead and leave, go to California for a while, and then possibly to this house that he had in Florida, which I did not believe in the slightest. Is why would you be
Why would he be living here?
Why would you be living in a rundown trailer here?
Sure.
He gave me his food stamp card.
Also? Wow.
Okay? He gave me
Food stamp cards and beer.
He said he was leaving. Just give me a ride. That was when I confronted him.
You may have noticed a pattern here.
Yeah.
In Susan's version of events, these accidents seem to occur around the time when both of these men tried to leave her property.
Yeah.
The detectives verify Susan's story and point out the inconsistencies. Then they focus on one of the glaring issues.
Yeah.
So he was holding it away from his head? Because a contact wound makes a much different wound than holding it out here.
Yeah, no, it wasn't a contact wound.
Yeah.
So you like
Susan's
this?
claim that the shot was not a contact wound makes her story that Steve took his own life highly unlikely, especially combined with the claim that he shot himself 5 times in the head.
Nah, it makes sense.
Susan realizes she needs to claim the shot wasn't close range, as the detective informed her earlier that the wound would look different on the skull, depending on how far away the gun was when Steve was shot. It appears that Susan has tailored her story to fit the evidence the police will find when they examine the skull.
It makes sense,
So
dog.
are you holding him and he's facing you and you're trying to get the gun?
I was holding his arm.
Susan claims that the scuffle over the gun occurred in her bedroom and that Steve shot himself in the head once before running to the barn. She then clarifies that he didn't shoot himself the first time until he was outside of her room, likely because she knows that the forensics will not match her story.
Was Steve dead when the pigs started eating him?
Oh yeah, definitely.
How can you be sure?
No, he was dead.
Well, he shot himself the 5 times, but
Yeah.
I mean, what happened after he's shooting himself? What's happening?
Well, it finally went through his head.
Okay. And he just died there in the
He
barn.
He died right there in the barn.
And
I just left him there, and I didn't know what the hell to do.
She claims that by the time she returned to the barn, the pigs had come through the open gate and dragged Steve's body towards the pen.
This makes
and that
no
the animals
sense.
had started licking the blood off of him.
Wow.
Instead of getting the pigs away from him, she says that she just let the pigs drag him all the way into the pen and begin eating him.
What
it wasn't until later that she built a wall to separate the barn from the pen.
Hey, remember me? Just in here earlier. How you doing? You alright?
Too many bubbles.
Oh, a little gas coming
Yeah.
out?
This is gonna sound even more stupid than anything else, but one of my problems, that stupid silver thing over there is crooked, and I can't stand looking at it.
It's possible that when things are not the way Susan wants them to be, it triggers her anxiety. It's also possible that this was her way of gaining some control in a very out-of-control situation.
Is that better?
A little.
Better?
More better.
Okay. That's about all I can do. Huh? Yeah.
The detective scoots closer to Susan.
Wow.
By increasing his proximity, he's putting the pressure on her. This may be especially stressful for Susan because of her reported anxiety and dislike of people in general.
I pick up stuff like that, and
Right, just sometimes little things bother you like that.
I go into a store and I see papers ajar, and I take all the papers and straighten them up and make it all nice and.
And your house is so messy though.
It's stupid, but
okay.
things like that bug the hell out of me.
It's the bed. Food.
That's the bed?
Trash. Papers,
Yo, how do people,
baseball cards.
God forbid, man, how do people live like that?
Affected my
working on the polygraph
test either.
They spend a few minutes recounting everything Susan has stated about Robert and Steve before the investigator confronts her about the possibility of more horrifying finds being discovered on her farm.
What?
And what happens when we find a third person?
You will not find a third person.
We won't find one, or is there one that we can't find?
You will not find. I do not know if he went into the pen voluntarily or somebody possibly put him into the pen because they heard me talking all of my stupid jokes, which I realize are more stupid every time I tell them.
Right, especially after it actually happened, right?
Yes.
Do you think I believe your story?
No.
Do you think Detective Henderson believes your story?
No.
Do you think...
I don't believe my story.
You don't believe it either?
No. It's too stupid.
So why are you telling it?
I'm gonna leave. Okay. I'm gonna leave right now, and I'm gonna come back in, or have Detective Henderson come back in. But I want you to think about everything that's gone on right now. Okay.
Can you stand up for me?
No, nobody did that. So I can't see.
Stand up.
See how that
Can you
would.
stand up for me?
I can't see how.
Oh, she got arrested.
Oh.
Your man's gotta go back and farm.
Oh, she got arrested.
After being arrested and spending the night in jail, Susan is brought back to the interrogation room the next day to continue talking with investigators. As you'll soon see, they want more than just clarity about the deaths of Steve and Robert, because they suspect something even more sinister may have occurred.
Can I say something really quick before you start?
Yes.
Because we went through a lot yesterday.
Yeah. Who's the girl?
I just want you to know that, if you don't want to talk to us, you don't have to. I kind of don't care. You know, if you don't want to talk to us, that's fine. We can just take you back to the jail. That's up to you.
No,
You're here because you want to be.
Yes.
So, that being said, we can't do what we did yesterday. We spent way too much time beating around the bush and all that. We were spending all day today.
Oh my God.
Property.
12 hours.
A lot of things have changed since last night. So I don't want you to waste my time today, okay?
Okay.
And we don't want to waste yours either.
No.
All right?
No.
So I'll let you know that.
What I had been trying to forget, I remembered laying there.
Mm-hmm.
When I came into the pen,
Yeah.
his head was towards the west.
Mm-hmm.
He was belly up, and the pigs were on him. I tried to shoot them off, and I went up to get my gun. And in those 2 minutes, when I got back, I think he did die. I'm pretty sure he did die.
So now you're saying that you know that he was dead when you got back?
Right?
Well, that was the thing. I'm pretty sure he was then.
Did you check?
No.
This
So how
is
you
a
know?
pretty big deviation from her previous story about
Yeah.
how she put Robert out of his misery.
Misery.
While it is possible she's telling the truth, an alternative is that she's trying to escape more severe punishment by claiming that he was already dead when she shot him.
Okay, let's talk about Steve. What are the forensics going to show on that? Because they're most certainly not going to show what you told us. You remember what happened? You talked to us about the struggling with the gun, which, by the way, is about this big.
Yeah,
I don't know how that struggle went down, fighting over a little teeny tiny gun.
I was holding on to his arm.
I'm saying that this is why I'm saying, this stuff, it's not that it doesn't make sense. It's just flat out impossible, the way that you describe things.
The leg.
Susan shifts her foot, which is likely an anchor point movement
Yes,
because she
the
realizes that the detective isn't believing her story.
Impossible.
You've dug him up?
We are.
You.
They're up there working on stuff right
Okay.
now. I haven't seen him yet.
Okay. When you dig him up, you will find a bunch of holes in his head.
Where? On the top?
I was like,
You're holding his hand up. He's holding the gun up.
Yes.
So he's somehow going to reach back around and point the gun back at the top of his head when you're holding his arm up. He's going to reach down or angle his hand down enough and overpower you, who are significantly bigger than him. You are. And you have great upper body strength, like you said. And he's going to reach down. He's going to shoot himself in the top of the head.
Yes.
Okay. That makes sense.
And that's where we're at. How did he manage to shoot 5 out of 5 shots into his head?
That's my question.
You thought that when a
Who is
person
her?
is shot, that it causes a lot of damage and that it would kill them. So maybe that first shot just wasn't enough.
Who is
That's
she?
why you had to shoot him more than once.
That's the whole thing. Yes.
Okay.
That's it. Yes.
And that makes a lot more sense than a struggle over someone's head that...
Oh no, I didn't shoot him. I didn't shoot him 5 times. I'm saying struggled and it went off. He emptied the gun.
Susan, that's just not possible.
When you get the skull.
And I'm not concerned about the number of holes that are actually there. I'm concerned about how they got there, because it doesn't make sense that a person would be shot that many times in the head during a struggle or a suicide attempt or anything other than somebody else intentionally putting them there.
That makes no sense.
And maybe there's a reason for it.
Would you sit still while I fired 5 shots at your head?
No,
Bro,
that's
what?
I'm saying.
Okay. That's
what I'm saying.
That's the point we're making.
That's what I'm trying to say to you is, if someone's shot one time, that alone would probably incapacitate them. They wouldn't fire off another round to their head and keep shooting at their own head or not move enough to get away from them. It just doesn't make sense.
5 shots is crazy, eh? You should have said, Two or three, two or
It's
what?
really important for us to understand the truth and what happened, and we want to believe what you're telling us.
Right now,
Yeah.
I do not believe I did anything else to Steve.
Oddly, Susan prefaces her statement with the
Anything
words
else?
right now.
Oh, right now.
This type of language is a huge red flag, as an innocent person would be adamant and certain in their language. Alternatively, she may be hinting that she has forgotten what happened because it was traumatic, or even implying that she dissociated during the event, maybe due to a panic attack. However, it's just as likely that she may want more time to think, so she's letting the detectives know that her story could change in the future.
Are you saying also that maybe with more time you'd recollect other things that happened on your property?
Everything's possible. I don't know.
We don't have a lot of time. It's not because we're not trying to give you time.
Yeah.
I feel like we've been trying to give you time, and it's not, we can't take years to give you time to, remember things that happened.
I did not feel guilty about committing murder in either case.
Bro, what?
The joke became reality.
But you continue to make that joke, even after it became reality.
Exactly.
You even said that to me. You said you were going to kill me and feed me your pigs.
What?
That actually, I didn't even know what to say. I'm a police officer. I didn't even know what to say. You know what I mean?
Wow.
I was like, whoa. Did she really just say that?
Susan's voice becomes more stressed, and she breathes heavily again, which is shown to be her sign of serious distress. She struggles to get the words out, which is very unusual for her because she typically has a response or explanation for everything. Her struggle could also be due to her growing frustration. Susan's relatively flat demeanor is about to crack, and you'll soon see her freak out.
Over there at the jail,
Mm-hmm.
One of the girls has got hair all the way down to her.
Someone who works there? Or
Yes.
Oh, okay.
One of the guards. She's got hair all the way down to her. Okay?
Yeah.
And my stupid brain went into gear, and I told her, hey, I could grab your hair and strangle you with it.
Oh my gosh, why would you say that?
I don't know. I don't know.
No, I don't know.
This thing in here.
Sometimes it just comes out.
It just comes out.
Susan seems to be highly impulsive and has little to no filter, so if she thinks something, she just says it, even if her comments are offensive or threatening. What Susan is describing is possibly what is known as an intrusive thought. It's important to note that the individual with the intrusive thought does not want to act on the thought, which is why they find the idea so distressing. The fact that Susan verbalized this thought in the moment to the guard with the long hair is somewhat unusual, though. Intrusive thoughts usually remain internal, as they may cause the person to feel shame or embarrassment. This may go back to Susan's difficulty with understanding and navigating social interactions. Alternatively, Susan could be putting on an act to make it look like she's upset by these thoughts, when in actuality, she's unbothered and even enjoys the reaction she gets from other people when she says the thoughts out loud. This brief emotional meltdown provides a window into how Susan likely responds when she's under stress, and may show us how she quickly becomes angry and snaps if she feels cornered and is unable to cope with a situation. This is an indication of Susan's overall low frustration tolerance and inability to handle stress.
It just comes out.
When that happens, do you feel like you don't have control?
The female detective again tries to float the accident or mercy-killing theory, and Susan finally latches onto it.
Yes. It just comes
It just
out.
happens and you can't stop
Yes.
it.
I mean, it's stupid, but it just comes out. Same thing with him. I have no intention of killing him. I have no intentions of killing Steve. I did have the intention of finishing off Robert. I did not know how he got in there, why he got in there, or anything.
I guarantee there's more people on your property. I guarantee it. With what I know right now.
Food.
What are we supposed to do? Just ignore that?
What do I get for the guarantee?
Susan seems to be now
What do I get?
proposing a quid pro quo for her confessing to more murders. A Latin phrase that literally translates to this for that, or something for something, to get information from a suspect. A quid pro quo in this
A quid pro
context is
quo.
when the interrogator gives the suspect something that either seems to be a secret or is a favor, like a cigarette in exchange for something the interrogators want from the suspect, which is usually information. The quid pro quo may be very blatant, like, you tell me this and we will tell you or give you that. Or it may be more subtle, such as telling the suspect they can have a cigarette, but first let's talk about this or clear this up.
What do you want for the guarantee? What are you talking about?
I mean, you're making a mess out of my place.
But there's more people out there.
Well,
are we supposed to leave them?
You're saying you are saying
Yes.
you're guaranteeing there's more people out on my property.
Yes, that's.
Am I going to get $150,000 to fix up my place after you've messed it up?
If we find one person, it's worth messing up the property. It's a human being.
I am saying if you do not find anybody out there.
I'm almost positive we're going to.
I'm saying if you do not find anybody out there.
We already know there's two.
I'm saying if you do not find anybody out there, are you going to pay me $150,000 to put it back the way it was?
No, absolutely not.
That's what I'm saying. There's no guarantee of nothing here.
Well, what do you want?
I don't want you messing up my place after me and Steve have put so much into it.
There's 2 dead people on your property. Are we not supposed to look for more? Obviously, there's probably more. And what are we supposed to do? Just ignore that?
You're saying everything is obvious. I don't know how it's obvious.
It's obvious to me. You have 100 people come and go on your property in 20 years, and you expect me to believe there's no one else there? Not possible. If people come and go and they're kind of transient types, and they may not be close ties with their family, so people aren't going to report them missing sometimes. We've got to look at that group of people. We would not be doing our jobs if we didn't unearth every square inch of your property to look for people. If we don't do that, we're not doing our jobs, because what if we miss someone?
A key point here is that Susan doesn't consider human life to be as valuable as the detective is expressing.
Yeah.
Susan has made her beliefs very clear when it comes to human life, such as her comments on overpopulation.
Yeah.
What is meaningful to the detective probably makes no sense to Susan, and she's likely wondering why they're making such a fuss just to find a body or two.
Now, if I knew exactly where those people were at, we wouldn't go make a mess, would we? We'd know exactly where to look.
Just like when you were to look for Robert.
Then we dig up a little hole and we get the person out, and that's the end of it. But you don't want that. You want to say, well, I don't know if there could be 12 bodies out there. I don't know.
I want you to go out and find the best GPR there is in this planet.
We don't need to.
And use it not to dig up my property.
It's getting dug up. We have to.
The detectives know how important Susan's land is to her, and this may be a manipulation tactic to get her to admit if and where any other bodies are buried.
But they're smart,
Having
though.
her property messed up is a huge trigger for Susan. So if anything will get her to admit to another body being there, it will likely be this.
If you know that there's somebody out there, you're just not telling me because you don't want to get in trouble or whatever, that's fine. We're going to find the people because we're going to dig it up.
But you're saying for a fact that you're going to find people out there. I am saying.
I can almost 100% guarantee you that, Susan.
And I am saying for the other 0.5% that you're not finding anybody out there.
Okay.
And you're making a big mess out of my place.
We're going to look.
So we have to...
I sure don't want you digging up my damn dog.
I understand
We know that.
I understand that.
What if there's somebody underneath your dog? What are we supposed to do? I don't want to desecrate your dog's grave. That's special to you.
Wow.
That was 15 years ago.
I understand that.
You're saying that for the last 15 years I've been killing people?
No, not at all. I'm saying there could be other dead people on your property, and if you know about it, you better just tell me now.
I don't.
And save us all this, of
Digging.
things that we have to do. We know that there's 2 dead people there. We also know that we don't know how many more there are. So we are going to dig and look until we make sure that we have checked every square inch of that 20 acres, and we know for sure there's no one there. The only way to do that is to go hands-on and to check the whole damn thing.
Damn.
What else are we supposed to do? You tell us. Unless we had someone to say, here's a map. There's somebody there. Or I think there might be somebody over here. I don't know how they got there, but they're there.
That's what I just said. And now you're saying you're not going to do it.
Because it's just a general area. Sure, you showed us where Robert was, and you showed us where Steve was. Yeah, we went and looked at Robert today. Sure enough, there he was, right where you said it.
Steve was in a hole. Robert was in a bag.
Yeah.
Okay. I told you where both were.
Okay.
Okay. I told you where the dog is. I told you where the llamas are. You can run the little thing over the top of it. Oh, that's not a person.
That's one little area. 20 acres. You can see the
99.99 acres, actually.
A billion people out there, and we're going to bring in whatever we have to.
And you're gonna spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on this stupid
to find a person. Sure.
Susan sounds shocked that
Yeah.
so many resources would go into finding these bodies. Again, this shows the little value she places on human life, and likely explains how she was able to take the lives of these men.
Well, the worst is done. If you killed somebody and they're out there, or there's somebody dead out there, they're dead. We can't bring them back.
But see that you're saying something and you're not backing it up with a damn thing. Are you going to sign a piece of paper saying
what am I supposed to
if you
that I'm going to quit my job?
Yes.
I don't have to.
You just said you would if you didn't find anybody.
I'm just telling you, I don't have to. I'm that confident that there's people out there.
Okay, if you're that confident, sign a piece of paper saying, if I don't find somebody out there, at least one person out there, I'm going to quit.
And that's why I don't get you is when you continue to be
hostile.
Hostile.
Okay.
You continue to put up a fight.
Yes.
Because
I don't want my place looking a mess.
Because you care more about animals than you do people.
To some extent, yes.
Okay.
I also
the people that came to your place were not that great of people at times. They would be what society would probably consider the lowlifes, the drinkers, the people that have problems, people who get arrested.
Yes.
That kind of thing. And people who steal and screw people over.
And I took care of a lot of them. I gave them a helping hand.
Yes.
Are you telling me out of 100 people that came to your place that are transients and have problems and maybe mostly drunk issues, it sounds like, not necessarily drug issues, it sounds like you might have kept your way away from those people.
Try to.
And, okay, there you go. You selected a certain group of people that you would accept
Wow.
and work at your place. And out of those 100, only 2 of them ended up dead?
See, now that doesn't make any sense. If I've been doing this for years, wouldn't I be getting better at it?
People get caught as they do something that leads them to get caught.
Susan was arrested on January 14th, 2014 for 2 counts of first-degree murder,
Wow.
2 counts of abuse of a corpse, and 1 count of identity theft.
Wow.
Susan wasn't done with her crazy admissions, though. During an interview, Susan allegedly admitted to burying 17 more bodies somewhere on the farm. This prompted almost a month of searching, including investigators digging around 50 holes in
Oh
the
my
hopes of uncovering
God.
more of her victims. Ultimately, though, it was determined that there were no more bodies hidden on her farm. There is speculation that Susan said this as one of her twisted jokes, or to intentionally frustrate investigators.
Yeah.
Eventually, Susan's pigs were all euthanized. She was reportedly irate when she found out, especially because they were killed instead of their meat being donated
Wow.
to a food pantry. Somewhat surprisingly, Susan pled not guilty to all charges.
No way.
Herself when the case went to trial. She actually cross-examined the lead investigator and consistently interrupted the trial. So much so that she had to be removed from the courtroom on several occasions. None of Susan's explanations for either Robert's or Stephen's deaths matched the horrific evidence.
Oh my
It
God.
was uncovered that Robert's legs had been removed with an axe, while
Wow.
Stephen had been shot 3 or 4 times in the head. It didn't help that while in prison, Susan signed a birthday card from the sweetest murderer in Jackson County, another sign of what she called her sense of humor. In 2015, Susan Monaco was found guilty on all counts and sentenced to 2 consecutive 25-year prison terms, totaling a 50-year sentence with no chance of parole.
Figurity, man. Like and subscribe.